hasn't had finals footy for 2 years now, and you've got Carlton, Collingwood and Richmond all in those sort of spots in the lower part of the 8. The possibility of having a cutthroat final at the MCG in the first week that can involve any combination of those three teams. At the other end of the ladder, you've got Geelong and Melbourne, and then obviously the interstate contingent with Fremantle flying the flag for the West. You've obviously got the Sydney Swans there for New South Wales, and the Brisbane Lions will be a contender again for Queensland. It feels like there's going to be some enormous matchups, whatever combination we end up with come the finals time.
Well, I take it back to that final 2013, how big that was. I can still remember. It's one of my favourite moments, the running out, not the finish, the running out to that game. I hadn't played the final before, so you get that Carlton, Collingwood, Richmond, Carlton, whoever it is, this place is going to be absolutely pumping.
Well, there was probably, I think there was low 90s that day. And
94.
There was 94. And I think that there was probably 60-odd Richmond supporters here. And it was just unbelievably loud. So I still remember when we were, 5 goals down and we were staring down the abyss thinking, oh, this is all over. And then all of a sudden we started to kick one or two and the crowd just started to lift. And
bloody juddy.
Just thinking about those moments, it makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, just going back to that moment. And Jeff Garlett doing the little hurdle and running, having 3 bounces running inside 50 and kicking goal. It's huge for the town of Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's just, we draw back on our memories, Lids, and that was a good one, probably one of the better ones in my career. But it'll be huge for Melbourne, I think, to have the big clubs where there'll be 90,000 here. And as you said, Corby, having missed the last couple of years of finals football, will be huge.
So we all have our own little hobby horses. Just have interest, what day was that final played on?
It was a Sunday.
One of the few Sunday finals.
Yeah.
I think the elimination final on a Sunday works beautifully. I know TV like Friday night, Thursday night, Saturday night, but there's something about a standalone elimination final on a Sunday.
It's not great when you're playing it and you've got to think about it all weekend. Trust me, Clinchy, because from the from your main training session through to your captain's run and then getting ready to play on the Sunday. God, it's a long time to watch footy and get yourself prepared.
And now with the bye leading into it as well, and you watch, most blokes would probably watch a couple of the finals leading in as well. It can get draining for some guys sitting there on the Sunday and watching big games of football and the expectations and the highlights that come from those games.
It's hard to keep it normal. That's the biggest thing. That's what I found anyway. It was hard to stay normal throughout that when you haven't played finals for 8 years as well. I think that probably counts for a bit.
You are right, though. The Sunday afternoon in spring where you've got sort of a cutthroat final, unfortunately it feels like it's the big casualty of the bye, isn't it? I think we had one last year only because there was no pre-finals bye. So I think Essendon and the Western Bulldogs played a Sunday Arvo elimination final at York Park at Launceston. But I imagine we'll go back to Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the 4 finals in week 1 this year. But I don't care what day it's on, as long as we get 2 massive clubs here at the MCG, 85, 90,000 week 1. That'll be awesome as a return to finals footy in this part of the world.
Just out of interest, the AFL announced yesterday that Robbie Williams will be the grand final entertainment. Did his own little video package, which I didn't realise yesterday. Otherwise, we would have played it, saying that he's looking forward to playing in one of the world's biggest sporting events at the MCG. And who knows, maybe he'll take on the role as the next CEO of the AFL. So
I thought he buried the lead there, didn't he?
He had all these lines ready to wheel out. In terms of 1 to 10, where would Robbie Williams sit in your pecking order, Murph?
I've actually been to a Robbie Williams concert before, so I reckon it'll be great. I think it's as good as you're probably going to get, isn't it, really? So I'm not sure what they'd be paying. What do you reckon they'd be paying Robbie Williams to come here and sing 3 or 4 songs, and no doubt Let Me Entertain You would be one of them? You would have thought, Corby?
Yeah, it'd be big bucks, I'm sure.
It's got to be upward of $2 million, doesn't it?
$2 million, you think?
I think upwards of that.
For one show only?
One show only.
Wow.
You'd like it to be at night too. Atmosphere would be a little bit better. Maybe a twilight grand final, so your half time's a little bit darker, and it's always got a better feel about it. Concerts are always done at night time, so it's a lot of money for Robbie Williams. I'm no doubt Lids is pretty pumped about watching that as well.
He's probably a 2 or 3 for me.
There's always one.
No, I'm just not a Robbie Williams fan. It needs to get a bit harder, a bit heavier for me, but I'm not sure we'd get Metallica or someone out there. So I'm not sure. I'd never be pleased, but we do follow the NFL's lead. I reckon they did it pretty well last year, bringing back the old school gangsters.
You reckon that was pretty good?
That was the best one easily, by far.
Yeah.
And this was my
tongue in cheek.
I'm in probably better company today. We spoke about it yesterday with Roma and Sellers, and they're probably from
you weren't playing any demographic
time,
there.
but
yeah, no.
This is my thing with hip hop music and rap music, for example. So I feel like there's a certain portion of people out there that essentially say, "Oh, that's for a certain fringe, that's not part of the mainstream or whatever." Whereas you guys are in your 30s now, as am I. We've sort of grown up listening to that kind of music our whole lives. You guys have started families of your own. It's sort of, all of a sudden now people have followed that style of music for 30 or 40 years, and yet it's never represented on like a grand stage or something like this, which I know last year Baker Boy played, who's obviously an Australian artist, in Perth, and there was obviously border complications as to who they could get in the pandemic years, but I would love to see it represented a little more, and it took the Super Bowl, something years to finally have sort of rap artists, hip-hop artists represented as part of their main show, but clearly there's an audience for it, and the demographic that they're trying to target, that's what people listen to that age and a lot younger than us.
Yeah, I totally agree. I must admit, though, my girls haven't listened to too much Slim Shady just yet, but there'll be a time and place when they grow up.
Think about people that are like Eminem fans are like 30s and 40s. Yeah. Like they're not teenagers.
Started out like late 90s, 2000s with some of his bigger albums, so it's like, well...
Dr. Dre, who played in the Super Bowl, he was releasing tracks in the 80s and stuff before we were born. Like that... That's all of a sudden a whole generation of people that listen to that style of music, and yet it feels like it's always shunned, like, oh, no, we couldn't possibly have that on the AFL Grand Final. I think all of a sudden now it feels like we're always still listening to the music our dads listen to, where it's like,
Springsteen.
When are you going to be represented, sort of a whole age group or a whole generation of people in now their 30s and 40s?
Meatloaf was a success, wasn't it? Well, let's bring him back.
Lionel Richie, it's kind of like it's just, always stuck in that same kind of
Who do you want, Corby? Who do you want here at the G at halftime?
Well, I did say I felt like Kendrick Lamar was underutilised at the Super Bowl, so we might need a bit more than $2 million and a bit more influence. But I don't know, just someone that sort of represents a different generation.
Jack Harlow.
And have a mix. I don't have a problem with them saying, look, let's have Robbie Williams, but let's have someone else to offset it. It sort of feels like it's always pigeonholed at one particular demographic. Remember the Brisbane Grand Final when they had the sappy sort of slow music? Was that... they were a sort of a modern band, but that didn't hit the mark at all. That was sort of the slow...
Anyway, we've gone off on a tangent now.
Yeah, this almost is a hot take. So 0437 774 774. If you want to add a thought or two, if there's someone you think that the AFL have missed who they should try and target for the AFL Grand Final pre-match entertainment. But I felt like Robbie Williams on the way out for Gill the supercars used to always do it well. They knew their market pretty well in terms of who they were trying to target. So
the supercars.
Well, they did. Yeah. They would have Kiss come and play. They'd have, I think Robbie Williams has played. They've had some various sort of performances that are right in the wheelhouse that if you're wrestling between spending $100 or $200, well, I'll spend the extra $100 to go see the entertainment as part of the show as well.
DMAs are the band that played in the Brisbane Grand Final, by the way, or a local acts. That's the other thing, Clinchy, too. So just while I'm on my tangent here, the fact that how many people say, oh, look, we don't really care about the Grand Final entertainment, we're coming for the footy anyway, and yet it feels like the same demographic that says that. The entertainment's always catered towards people in that particular age group. It is interesting, though. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody is buying a ticket to the Grand Final to come and see Robbie Williams play.
No.
It's always just a complimentary piece. I mean, everyone that's coming to the Grand Final is here to watch the footy.
Yeah, the Killers were good a couple of years ago.
Yep. They were good.
Not that I watched it, but they were good apparently.
Now, there's no shortage of live sport taking place across the weekend. There's just about anything and everything on it during the day and at night. There's the VFLW Grand Final taking place. So Essendon taking on the Southern Stars, and it's currently a one-way show. The Bombers 6-6-42, leading the Saints 6 behind. So that's 10 minutes gone in the final term. The Bombers leading by 36 points, and it was great to see the AFL draft held during the week. The full 18 teams all in, and Sydney having the number one pick. So great to see for the upcoming AFLW season, which of course gets underway not that far away. All of a sudden it rolls around quicker than it has in previous years. The cheer squads are out for both sides, and the players will only be a few moments away, making their way out onto the MCG. There's no late changes for either side. So looking forward to the Tigers and the West Coast Eagles this afternoon. Of course, it's a bumper Sunday. It also features GWS and Hawthorn from Giants Stadium, where apparently there's been a lot of rain in Sydney over the last 48 hours. So I'm not sure what sort of conditions, but on the radar it had a 100% chance of rain.
Must be cricket season.
Must be.
Well, the races got abandoned yesterday, so there was a little bit of talk around this morning that there might have been a chance for the match to be abandoned, but it's obviously going ahead.
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, it's that wet.
Yeah, you're kidding. You don't have games of AFL ever not played because of a bit of rain.
Well, I think it's more than a bit of rain, but I think it was
it might be underwater.
Well, if it's underwater, then I suppose you look at it. But anyway, it's good to see the game going ahead.
And, of course, the final match of the weekend, the Fremantle Dockers taking on Port Adelaide. So what would be the hottest ticket in town in Perth, Corey? Would it be going to the footy or the Super Netball Grand Final? I imagine the Melbourne Vixens
I think
taking on the Fever.
I think you've only got one choice. I think you have to go to the footy because the Netball Grand Final sold out. Which is it's at Perth Arena where the Wildcats play. So 13,500. It'll be a hell of a crowd. Two teams with a bit of rivalry as well, the Vixens and the Fever. So that grand final starts just after 7 o'clock Eastern time, so 5 p.m. for those of you in the West as the Eagles make their way out onto the MCG. The Eagles with just 2 wins for the season, so 2-12. They're in their white shorts and their traditional jumper, the royal blue with the gold wings, and Nick Natanui out of among them today.
On the SMS 0437774774, you know AFL Grand Final pre-match entertainment is always hot for our listeners and their interaction. Some of their suggestions coming through. Hilltop Hoods. I think we've had the Hilltop Hoods in previous years, haven't we?
I'm not sure. Did they play? I think they played one of the football grand finals.
The Killers were clearly the best entertainment. With Jack made an additional magical and memorable moment.
He butchered it. That's what he did.
Simone in Altona says, after the last couple of years, I think we should showcase the best Australian talent on offer. A bit tough on Meatloaf. We've always been, but definitely the Australian artists are the way to go. I've got an idea. Let's go back to the traditional pre-game match rather than having music before. I'm sure there's a few that would certainly share in that thought, although having a curtain raiser on grand final day is always hard. The Triple J's hottest 100 winner was the Wiggles, so if we went on that sort of opinion, that's from Wiley for the younger generation. And a few going, I'm a 62-year-old, I think Robbie Williams will knock your socks off. Great choice. So there you go.
Yep.
Glenda as well, I'm a 74-year-old. Couldn't agree more that I'm looking forward to hearing Robbie and maybe some great Australian artists. So we'll continue on with that.
I'll tell you what would be fun is Slipknot. If they came out here and got in and just invite everyone into the centre square and have a big mosh pit. Now that would be fun.
I've heard some of the music in your car, Lids, and I reckon I'm closer to getting Kendrick Lamar here than some of your artists to play
mate,
at
that would
the
be
MCG.
Familiar with Slipknot's work, Murph?
Nah, not at all. I wouldn't waste my time.
That was pre-game.
That was pre-game.
Yeah, that
up
was
and about. That was what?
That was why I come out and I was ready to fight. Greased up and I was ready the whole way.
Greased up, no doubt about that.
You know, there is a huge section of footy fans, and I'm sure people that haven't even bothered messaging in, that would think when it comes to grand final entertainment, just wheel Mike Brady out there, give him a guitar, get him to sing so one day in September, and away we go.
Followed up by
have the
Dale
national
Braithwaite.
anthem and put the banners up and let's get on with it.
Greek champion, that's the thing we love about footy. Everyone knows the words.
Great.
The Tigers, they're not too far away. You can hear the jungle drums are beating. And Richmond about to make their way out onto the MCG. The West Coast Eagles are going through their warm-up. So let's get a thought or two from Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy as to how they see this game playing out at round 16 of the AFL.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed for us, Clinchy, that it's not like the last time they met, and that, you know, for the Eagles, from the Eagles' point of view, I think they've certainly got some better players back in, or some more experienced players back in their team. Welcome back Nick Natanui, which no doubt bolsters their ruck stocks and makes it. I'd be putting a smile on my face if I was a midfielder, knowing that you've got the big fella back in your middle. But obviously, you mentioned earlier, Murph, about big JK, Joshy Kennedy not out there today, which is, you know, probably hurts them a little bit in terms of their scoring power. But you know, someone else will get their opportunity up front. So I think the Tigers will be just too strong right across the board. Their system that they play with, they don't rely too much on just one player dominating a game for them to get them over the line. You know, we've got so many consistent performers, and I thought it was Shea Bolton, even Marlon Pickett on a wing. Liam Baker's become an absolute little superstar, one of my favourite players to watch. But then the addition of Jaden Short into that midfield, you know, and Nick Vlauston down back, I'll just love his interceptability. So I think, you know, look, the Tigers for mine will be just too strong right across the field versus, you know, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to get from the Eagles.
No, you're not. And, you know, Nick Natanui, as you mentioned, he's a huge in. But I love the mix of the Richmond midfield now, having Short go through there, Bolton, Baker, who, as we both obviously agree with, that we both love him as a footballer because you just know what you're going to get out of him. He has a crack. He's so tough, but he's also very, very talented in terms of his skill-wise. He's
like a vacuum. He doesn't drop any ball below his knees.
No, and you shouldn't when you're that small either. But he's extremely clean and just does little things that just make his teammates better around him. So, look, I mentioned before about the Eagles' names that they've still got on their list that you know, they're premiership players and being stars of the competition. But if they don't start well today, it could be long afternoon for the Eagles and a long trip home. So they're going to cause some headaches on the run home for a lot of sides, but at the G against Richmond, who have been playing really good football over the last 6 to 7 weeks. I thought they were fantastic last week against Geelong, and who knows whether or not Presti would have made a difference. I think he would have if he played out that whole game last week, because I think Presti is in their top 2 or 3 most important players. So they ran Geelong obviously pretty close last week, and I think they'll take account of the Eagles this afternoon. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see that midfield battle is going to be where it's won and lost, but I think the Richmond defence for mine is just going to be far too strong without Joshy Kennedy. Dylan Grimes has just become such a reliable defender, almost undersized too. He's only 192, 93 centimetres, but ability to play tall, small. Nathan Broad's another one who just continues to rock up and get the job done. Good intercept player, a bit similar to the role of like a Tom Stewart at the Geelong. Just rolls off, takes marks, but then very happy to get involved going forward. I reckon he'd be averaging close to 20 touches a game.
Would he be in All-Australian contention?
Oh, it's a good question. I think there's probably a few in front of him, but he's certainly a very reliable and centrepiece to the Richmond defence. I also love the work of young Josh Gibcus down there. I think he's been given the ability to play on some key forwards in his first year, but also shown that he can go forward and kick goal as well. So be interesting to see where he lines up. But the synergy I think for the Eagles will be it'll be a bit off today, given they haven't played a lot of footy. You just hope that they'll be able to come out and put in a good performance against a pretty well oiled machine in the Tigers.
If they can get some good ball use and some good clearances from the centre square, you never know with the Eagles. You talk about Liam Ryan, Rioli, Petruccelli. That's a lot of pace down there, and Jack Darling, who has been a star and obviously playing his 250th game today. If they can get the ball in there quick, they've got so much talent down there who can just kick goals really out of their backside. They're great contested players. Liam Ryan, as we know, just takes hangers at will. So they've got some real excitement machines down there. But I think the game, as we always say, Lids is always won and lost in the midfield. That'll be the case today. But the Richmond firepower of Lynch and Rewalt, they're just irresistible at the moment, especially today. You'd think they're going to stretch them quite a bit down back.
In terms of X factor, give me out of this lineup out here. You've got Bolton. We got Morris Rioli Jr. down there in the forward line, Liam Baker, and then on your flip side you've got Willie Rioli, Liam Ryan. Who's your most exciting player from your point of view, just to watch as a pure football fan?
I do like Baker, but Bolton, I think, as a pure fan, he does things that not many can do, and he looks like he's just playing with the opposition at times. So I love a bit of candy. I love blokes kicking bananas. I like guys having an extra step and
showing the footy. What about showing the footy?
Showing the footy pre and post goal. And Liam Ryan, I played in a game, I think it was 2 years ago, and he just tore us apart. Just some of the stuff that he can do, not only at ground level but in the air for such a small bloke. He's a pretty special player. So, but for mine, out of everyone on the field today, Bolton is probably my favourite. Liam Baker is pretty a close second.
Lids, Dustin Martin back for his 7th game on the trot. He's sort of playing his role, but hasn't quite exploded.
Well, they don't need him to be the best player on the field anymore, which is a real strength. I think he's probably just biding his time and look out come finals if they get there. Don't like that, Corb?
No, sorry, I was just looking at a few of the new faces for West Coast that we're getting a look at today. So Zane True is going to make his debut, who's in jumper number 26. He's a 20-year-old who becomes the Eagles' 9th AFL debutant this year. He's the 15th player to make his club debut for West Coast. So they've had 6 guys, obviously, that have had AFL experience elsewhere. Off the rookie list out of Swan Districts, which is the Hills District in Western Australia. And a couple of the newer faces. So Rhett Bazzo's playing his 3rd game. He was picked 37, West Coast 3rd selection in last year's national draft. He's the son of Steve Bazzo, who fans of WAFL footy from way back will be familiar with. Played over 250 games in the State League in WA, and is still inside 10 games. Teenager Brady Hoff, who's warming up with the midfield group at the moment. We saw Elliot Yeo go back against the Bombers last week. Yep. He's warming up again with the backs here for West Coast at the moment.
Yeah, good midfielders always make pretty handy backs as well. They know how to find the footy.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's not a hard spot to play really in today's game. You roll out there and get 30 now, Murph, I reckon. But I'm probably underselling it a little bit, but no, I think his addition and ability in the air as well to maybe give him a bit that way, I think is, and his speed off the line, I think he's just a powerful individual that can add a little bit more of a difference down there, but also he's played quite a few games too, so he's a bit more composure down there with Big Bunga Hearn.
Big Bunga Hearn. Yeah, look, Brady Hoff, I'm looking forward to watching him play. He gets an opportunity to play. Obviously, his Nick Nat being in the ruck, who's been a superstar. Luke Shuey, Tim Kelly, Andrew Gaff. So there's some stars and some real good senior players around him to help him through his early on journey of his AFL career. So that's only going to make him better. And looking forward to seeing some of these young guys get some exposure throughout the midfield, which Matthew Nice talked about in our pre-game interview. So it'll be exciting to watch for not only just the West Coast Eagles fans, but us up here as well. It
sounds like it's a bit of a challenge for the Eagles in trying to get that ball movement across half-back with Jones and Yo, but then also not taking on the game too much. A side like Richmond can really punish you on the turnover if you do make the wrong choices, especially at the ground like the MCG. So I've got no doubt that'll be something that Adam Simpson and the Eagles coaching staff will be mindful of.
Yeah, and Elliot Yo's like he's a great player in terms of his ball use. I wouldn't say he's really one that really cuts you up, does he? Like he's I don't know. What do you reckon, Lids? But I reckon they need more of a running, dashing player, but they probably don't have that down there. Hearn's obviously the guy who uses the ball by foot and kicks it long and a real penetrating kick. Elliot Yo, I think, will just try and come off his man at every opportunity and just get the ball as long and as far as he can. And that's probably his real strength, is his contested work. So there's no doubt he'll drop across and try and support his teammates down there in defence and then obviously use the ball on the way out.
Liam Ryan is one who's dropped back behind the ball from various stages when the Eagles have felt under siege. He's more of a threat in the forward 50, but I guess he does have that speed with the ability to break lines if he can try and get involved a bit more in the match.
Yeah, I think it's important for that small forward role. Like it's easily the hardest role in football, being that small forward, and when the ball's not going in there as much, I think it's important to give a licence to one of those blokes who's pretty electric by using their legs and just trying to overlap and just try and create something when the team's finding it hard to get it out of D50. So he's one that obviously we'd love to see him just playing inside the forward 50 because you get to see his tricks and get to see him just jump and launch at the football. But then there's times where the game's a bit stagnant and it's important to get those running types of players who back themselves in, and he's certainly one that does that.
Captains have gathered in the middle of the MCG, so Toby Nankervis. And it's no surprise, Jack Darling's doing the coin toss today in game 250. The final member of our team sitting in the front row of the grandstand is Jess Webster. Jess, welcome again to you.
Thanks, Clinchy. Pretty chilly down here at ground level, a top of 12 degrees in Melbourne this afternoon, and it's quite a swirly breeze. Always swirl at the MCG, but that wind is definitely noticeable at ground level. I can't find one long sleeve jumper out there. Don't think anybody finds that as interesting as I do, but it is definitely very cold. The good news is it's going to stay fine for the rest of the afternoon, so it's great conditions for Sunday afternoon footy.
Thank you, Jess. So Richmond ahead to the city end of this opening term, and there are no late changes. So Kane Lambert and Sam Petrescu-Seaton, the subs for the respective sides.
Did you captain Richmond much?
A couple of times.
Yeah. Is it compulsory that the Richmond captain must kick to the city end if they win the toss, so you come home to the punt road end? Is that like a directive?
No, I don't think so. There's a team manager down there, Mark Opie, who is always on the cans and talking to the runner. He's the one who goes out with the captain and gives you a little bit of advice, and he takes real pride in telling you which way you should be going. So the only time he didn't do it was at Port Adelaide when we
I called that final. 7 goals to none, I think it was in the first quarter.
Yeah. It does feel disproportionate, though, that Richmond will always, when they win the toss, kick to the city end and obviously come home with the cheer squad.
They do kick well to the city end early.
Can we get a stat on that?
I'm going to start keeping one.
I think I know a man who might be able to find one for us.
But we've seen it again today. So Tigers home to the punt road end in the final term. They're kicking to the city end to start.
So Dustin Martin starting in the middle of the crowd. Jack Darling alongside Gibcus. And the Tigers looking to try and stake their claim and push their way inside the top 8. The Eagles looking for redemption after a belting earlier in the season. Here we go with Corbin Middlemass.
WA's most famous citizens back. He contests the opening bounce. Natanui and Nankervis. Nankervis first hands on the footy. Natanui sockers it forward. There's Dan Rioli and Graham for Richmond. Graham's pushed in the back. He's going to get the free kick by Willie Rioli. So there's 3 Riolis out there again today, as they played on each other 7 weeks ago, as the kick comes wide to Martin and he heads down the wing to Castagna. It's a bit breezy, and I back up Jess's sentiment. It is definitely fresh as Castagna looks inside the forward 50, and Barris pushes it close to the boundary line. It doesn't go out. Kept alive by Pickett. Just hammers it to the top of the goal square. Tough one to mark. Rewalt can't. It's knocked away from him by Bazzo. And it's out of play. Forward pocket for Richmond. Tigers to the city end of the opening term. The Tigs in their home jumper with the yellow sash and the black shorts, and West Coast in their royal blue strip with the gold wings and the white shorts.
Tom Barris alongside Tom Lynch from the throw-in. Nat Nui one down the tap. Castagna had it for a moment. Pinched by Kelly. Works it to half-back. Cripps with a spiralling ball into the middle of the ground. Grimes underneath it. Trying to work his way back with Darling. But in the end, Dylan Grimes took an easy, uncontested mark. Short to Pickett, Members side. Looks up to half-forward. It's too wide for Jack Rewalt, who's happy to see it out of play. And a boundary throw-in 50 metres out from the Tigers' goal.
I feel the NFL scouts might have been happy with that punt there from Cripps. It was actually quite a good spiral.
A cool day in Melbourne. Top of just 13 degrees forecast. As Jess said, 12 at the moment. Natanui down to Jermaine Jones. Hand pass back in dispute. They've coughed it up. There's Graham again with his head over the foot. He got it to Pickett, but he's held up, and another ball up half forward for Richmond. The umpire to chuck the red Sharon up into the air. Half forward for the half back for the Eagles. Natanui grabs it out of the ruck, kicks a spiral forward again, and Waterman, strong contested mark, takes it in front of Vlosten on the wing. He'll come wide for the Eagles to Willie Rioli. Nice to see him back this season. He goes across the ground to Jones, and Jones will kick it back to Willie Rioli. Marks in front of the interchange. No scorers yet. We're a couple of minutes in. West Coast and Richmond.
Looks up to half forward, pulls the trigger, spots up Cripps. He marks at the edge of the centre square. Now looks over the top. Waterman on the lead, could mark. Takes it right on 50 as Vlosten lands awkwardly in the middle of his back.
It was a good, nice slow build-up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From the Eagles, just worked their way down. Jermaine Jones down there at half-back, waxing a little bit with Willie Rioli, but I think Dim will be too pleased with just the urgency for the Richmond boys in the way they set up. They just got picked apart just a little bit, just sagging off just that little bit. Just tighten up a little bit here and make sure that the Eagles are forced to kick long to a contest.
The Eagles already investing an extra at the stoppage, so allowing Grimes to be the +1.
With no Josh Kennedy, a golden opportunity for Jake Waterman to try and play a more pivotal part. From outside 50, sets fly out to the right. It won't quite have the journey. And it's rushed through by Dylan Grimes for the first score of the afternoon. And behind, the Eagles are on the board through 3 minutes.
Usually try and make them spin when you have a set shot. That was a wounded duck, wasn't it? Did not turn once.
Son of a premiership great and Chris Waterman. Jake with the first score of the game, but behind for West Coast. As Grimes heads to the back pocket for Vlosten. Oh, Vlosten misses Grimes, trying to chip it along the boundary line, pops it out on the full. Free kick West Coast, 45 metres out from their goal at left half forward, and Waterman's got it again. An uncharacteristic error trying to exit defensive 50 from Nick Vlosten. Waterman just lays it up, looks in the Darling direction, offhand, still live, top of the defensive goal square. Pickett rushes it through. And a forced behind, so West Coast 2 behinds, Richmond yet to score. No late change, by the way, here at the MCG, so Samo Petreski seat in the sub for West Coast and Lambert for Richmond.
Rioli short to the back pocket, Vlosten couldn't take it. The crumb is made by Ryan, and Willie Rioli kicks the opening goal of the match. An unusual skill error on the kick in from the Tigers. And the Eagles were able to make them pay the maximum price. Willie Rioli on the board. The Eagles 1-2-8 to Richmond yet to score. 4 minutes gone, opening term.
Well, it's an important start there by the Eagles. Been a few, not iffy kicks, they've just been absolute howlers, haven't they, so far? We've seen Waterman go back and kick one from 50 and float it without spinning, and then we've seen Vlosten obviously miss the target from about 15 away. I'm not sure who kicked the ball out there, but
Rioli.
It was a drop mark, wasn't it?
Yeah, Vlosten dropped the mark.
He's had a shaky start.
As a result, the two made a mess of it.
So dare I say, do we need to check the balls for air pressure at the moment, Corby?
I think that's Tom Brady may have been here. 1-2 to yet to score. Eagles by 8 points. Back in the middle, Natanui leaping up, palms it down, but to Jaden Short of the Tigers. Hand pass to Dustin Martin, hooks his kick down the wing. Graham hitting up to meet it, knocks it out in front of him, eventually gathers. He's now in the back half. Hand pass to Vlosten, see how he goes this time. Not a great kick. Bounces once before getting to Nankervis. The skipper turns and heads to half forward for Richmond. Edwards the target, caught in a tangle with Rotham, and Rotham gives away the free. And Shane Edwards to take it in game number 296. He goes short with the kick to Graham, and Graham will swing it out wide to McIntosh. 52 out left half forward, looks inside the forward 50, finds Rewalt, who takes the mark in front of young Bazzo, left half forward for the Tigs. He'll have a kick here from about 40 out.
Well, they would have had about 15 numbers back inside the D50 there, the Eagles, but just didn't stand in front of the lane in front of Jack Rewalt. So they need to get better in terms of their positioning down back if they're going to come and fill spots.
I mentioned his record against West Coast. He's filled his boots over the years with a bag of 10 here against the same opponents. He starts his day with a major. Tigers are in business. 6 minutes in, Rewalt's got there first. They're 1 straight 6. West Coast 1-8. Eagles by a couple of points, 6 minutes in on Grandstand AFL.
Yeah, you made mention of it, Murph. They had a lot of numbers back, but just able to get that separation. You're watching the work that Jack does off the ball here. Just, who's he playing? He had young Bazzo playing against him, just constantly on the move, not allowing him to get settled, but also keep turning his head. Didn't allow him to, see where the ball and the body was. That's the class of Jack and what he's done for a lot of years. But they'll be happy to get that one back after a good start. As an interstate club, when you come here, you want to try and get the first one. Yeah. You want to try and capitalise, get the second. But Richmond, hopefully that goal just settles them down. They can start hitting a few drop punts and someone change Boston's boots.
Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport. Williams into the right for the Eagles against Nankervis. Nankervis won it down to short, kicks to half forward, and Yo marks on his chest. Has it at centre half back with the Eagles leading by 2 points. And they led on 2 occasions at quarter time in season 2022. Just the 2 wins this season. Yo out wide for Jones at left half back, comes inboard for Kelly. He marks between wing and half back, having not really advanced their cause. Tim Kelly looks at options in the corridor, now call to play on. Lynch tries to charge at him from behind, kicks towards Williams in the mismatch against Broad. Williams now has to scrap at ground level, tries to knock it on. Ricochets out to Nankervis, got it to Pickett, to Martin, hand pass underground to Morris Rioli Jr., stripped of it. Well done by Jones. The Eagles take it back through Gaff. Hand pass to Yo, ran through the gauntlet, hand pass to Jones, who then fumbled it, keeps it in play just in front of the 2 benches, breaks the short tackle, kicks up towards 50, in front Waterman, great mark, has it 50 from home, he kicks into the path of Ryan on the lead, great kick, and Liam Ryan at full pelt, in the end did well to keep his feet as he claimed the mark in the right forward pocket. A chance to keep the Eagles' second goal of the match.
Well, I think we can see now why Jermaine Jones been added to that half back line. That was surgical to Waterman, and Waterman kick was equally as good, wasn't it? It was much better than his shot on goal. Just knew his teammate, didn't he, in the speed that he had.
Yeah, well, Liam Ryan was just working really hard back towards goal and just left open the space on the outer side, and Waterman was just fantastic and looked in that exact direction and just said, righto, Liam Ryan, you get here, I'll put it on your chest.
Now he's also boot in the process, so Jamie Cripps is a good team player, has gone and retrieved the boot. The clock has continued, I think it stopped at 22 seconds. So he's going that fast, he lost a wheel. And Liam Ryan without Josh Kennedy, 3rd leading goal scorer so far this season. He drifts it across the face and misses to the left-hand side. So the Eagles have some golden opportunities early. They're 1-3-9 to the Tigers 1 straight 6. 9 minutes gone opening term.
Nathan Broad trying to take a bounce. The footy didn't quite come back to him. Now he exits defensive 50 up to the wing. Lynch trying to take a juggled mark, unsuccessful. Spills to Pickett, taps it away to Morris Rioli. Went without it. Yo wins it for West Coast, charging through. Hand pass to Redden, feeds it back to Duggan, kicks in the middle of the ground. And the youngster in Brady Hoff takes the mark. Backward to the centre circles. And he swings it to the southern wing for Bazzo. Another one of the first-year Eagles. Heads down to half forward. Underneath it, Ralph Smith takes the juggled mark over Petruccelli. And Richmond chop it off, and they head deeper into defence as Broad marks back pocket in the sunshine.
Looks for options out of defence. Goes short to Jaden Short, who bounds out of defence up to Morris Rioli Jr. He marks in front of the Richmond interchange. He's got Soldo free. He spots him up between wing and half forward. Lynch leading back inside the attacking 50. In the end, he turns and leads up. Barras lets him go. And Tom Lynch marks it right half forward. Still 2 kicks out of goal for the Tigers. Sends it towards Revolt up in the pack. One grab, couldn't hang on. Shea Bolton front and centre. He's tackled. Good tackle by West. Ball spills clear. A chance for Barras to clear. Long up towards Jack Darling, who flies. A 2-on-1 the Eagles way. And in game 250, he marks at left half back.
Eagles by 3 points, 10.5 minutes into the opening turn. And Darling swings it from one back flank to the other to Waterman, who's been busy early. Chips it down the wing to Hoff. He marks and keeps it moving. Kicks to Cripps. So he marks between wing and half forward, and young Hoff is motoring forward. He's going to get on the end of it again. And the 19-year-old takes the mark. He's about 60 out now at right half forward.
Terrific work rate from the young bloke there. First to provide an option on the outlet and then get used again.
Hoff's just going to have to kick it into the pocket for Darling, and a one-on-one who started the chain. Caught in a tangle with Broad, can't complete the mark, and a pack forms around him. And a ball up right forward pocket for the West Coast Eagles at the punt road end. They've had a nice start, the Eagles. They led it by 3 points after 11 minutes.
4-5 inside 50s the way of the Tigers. But it's been the Eagles on the scoreboard. Soldo wins down the tap. A chance for Gaff. Hand pass away to Waterman on the right boot. Screws it back to the teeth of goal. Ryan Witch between McIntosh and Vlosten. It spills clear. Petrocelli tries to kick it over his shoulder. It ricocheted off a Richmond player. And Vlosten takes it. The Tigers out of defence. As Ross looks up to Dustin Martin, who takes the mark.
So Dusty in front of the interchange. He's just going to go back and across with a short kick to McIntosh, one of 18 Premiership Tigers out there. There's only 10 Premiership players for West Coast. Of course, these two teams sharing 4 of the last 5 flags. He's brought to centre half back for Grimes, and Grimes chips to Dan Rioli. Still in the centre square, up to halfway. Short kicking game to Jaden Short. He's going to go dangerously across the ground. Got it to Broad. Outer edge of the centre square. Eagles by 3 points, 12.5 minutes in. Comes wide to Dustin Martin, who takes the mark, 60 from home. And that launch pad right half forward. Kicking to the city end of the opening term. Martin's just going to go in the Lynch direction. Barras over the top, knocks it through for a rush behind. With the spoil, a little too much hang time on the kick. Richmond 1-1, West Coast 1-3. Eagles by a couple of points, 12.5 minutes in.
Shanahan quickly back into play. It's a Hoff who marks in the right back pocket. He spots True free at left half back. The kick just held up in the air a little bit. Allowed the Tigers to spoil it down. Through Soldo to Graham. Hand pass to Short under pressure. And Willie Rioli sees it out of play for a boundary throw in.
Started quite well, the Eagles. They look like they're defending as a unit quite well together, and then on the offense they're just hitting uncontested marks and refusing to go long to the Richmond numbers. So they're playing quite smart at the moment.
Cool Sunday afternoon in Melbourne. Floodlights are on. The sun's still peeking through for the moment. Here's Shuey from the throw-in. Good dash of pace as he kicks around the southern wing. Down low for Darling. He takes the mark. Feeds it back to Shuey. Not the right option. Ross got him. Locks the footy underneath him as he and Graham turn to the umpire. And he'll ball it up at right half forward for the Eagles, who lead by 2 points.
No late change either way. Petrevski, Seaton and Lambert, the 2 subs for the Eagles and the Tigers. And the ball up. Not going anywhere in a hurry. Tackle laid by True in there, and eventually Soldo tries to stand up with it. The ump lets them go. Gaff extracts it. Hand pass to Redden. Has a fumble under the pressure from Graham. Close to the boundary line. Dustin always clean. Gets it for Richmond. Hand pass away to Morris Rioli. Links up with Graham. Kicks inside the forward 50. Rotham backing back. Spoils. Still live forward pocket. Castagna chases after it. The boundary line beats he and Rotham, and out of bounds it goes. Forward pocket for Richmond. West Coast have only led twice at quarter time all season. It's the worst in the competition in terms of first quarter starts, as opposed to first quarter finishes. From the boundary throw-in, Soldo tries to grab it out of the ruck. It spills down to Dustin Martin. Stoppage goal coming up, and the champ Martin hooking it across his body puts Richmond in front. And a Dustin Martin special with a high five on his exit as he turns and runs to the interchange. First lead change of the game. Richmond 2-1-13, West Coast 1-3-9, 15 minutes in.
Well, probably speaks to Clinchy saying that he's been just going. He's come out and he started the game with 7 touches and kicked the goal already. So he heard you, Clinchy. He's like, I think he just flipped the bird too up this way.
Jeez, talk about a drive, bro.
No, mate, I'm not even steering you, but that's just the size and strength of him. And in and around to 450 stoppages, that's where he's at his absolute best. Nightmare for players playing on him, but coaches trying to stop him as well. So just a draw card for our game. It's so important for Richmond having him back. It's fantastic.
Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport. Nick Nui into the rack against Nankervis. Wins down the tap to Shuey. Feeds the hand pass away. The run of Duggan at half back. Kicks up to half forward. Darling behind Tarrant. Got a good bounce. Cripps swoops in. Gathers in the left forward pocket. Kicks towards the teeth of goal. Rioli, that's Willie, couldn't get a run at it, but Grimes runs into a dead end as Jake Waterman lays the tackle. And the Eagles lock it inside 50. 25 metres out from goal.
Up it goes. Natanui first hands on the 40, but Nankervis opposing ruckman. Hand pass to Cripps. He's tackled, dispossessed. Spills down to short. Kicks a high up and under, and Ralph Smith underneath it takes the mark for Richmond. Hand pass to Dan Rioli. Off go the Tigers. 1-2 with Pickett. Rioli running through the middle for Richmond. Sweeps a hand pass out to Castagna. First game back for the premiership forward. Loops a hand pass to Pickett up into the front half. Kicks inside 50. And the intercept mark taken by Hoff. At centre half back for the Eagles, just over the head of Morris Rioli, his intended target. And Hoff goes wide to Hearn, and Hearn short to Rotham, who can give it back to Shannon Hearn.
Trying to find an avenue out of defence. He's going to retreat back. Grass has it as Tom Lynch stands the mark. Waits for Petruccelli to lead up. He spots him, still inside the defensive 50. Now looks for Hoff in the middle of the ground. Good kick. Takes the mark in front of Grimes. Gives the hand pass to Duggan. Charging on half back. Drives a long kick through the middle of the MCG. Waterman with a 2-on-1. Tarrant came to support Broad. Spoiled down. Darling gathers. Hand pass back to Redden at left half forward. Kicks inside 50. Grimes charging back. Takes the mark 45 metres out from his defensive goal. And the switch is on for the Tigers. Kicks out towards Edwards, who's able to get rid of Willie Rioli. He's got Ralph Smith and Broad. Fires the hand pass boundary side to Ralph Smith. Tries to draw West and allows him to hand pass to Edwards at left half back.
Edwards moves it down the wing. Short kick to Broad. And West Australian, he goes short to Ross. Just over halfway. Richmond by 4 points, 2-1. An early lead change after West Coast bounced out of the blocks. Long kick inside the forward 50. Lynch almost got it at the back. Barris spills the mark. Pack forms behind him. And we'll have a ball up here, half forward for Richmond. And Jermaine Jones, the last one up with the footy, who was locked up in all of that. Umpire chucks it up in the air. Nankervis swats it down from the back. Here's Redden. He's tackled by Graham and Morris Rioli, and we'll do it all again. Another stoppage, half forward for the Tigers.
Nick Nat tangles with Nankervis. It comes down to Shuey. Gets a disposal away. Petruccelli was taken over the shoulder. And he'll take the free kick on the defensive 50 for the Eagles. He wants to try and run around Nankervis on the mark. Kicks up towards Darling. Gibcus just nudged in underneath. Tarrant's able to run onto it. Willie Rioli lays the tackle as he escorts him out of play for a boundary throw in on the southern side.
I think the Eagles coaches box will be quite happy with the start here from their boys. They've started quite good in the contest, but I think their pressure around the ball has been quite good as well.
Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport. The Eagles hit the first goal, Richmond with the last two. Nankervis takes possession from the ruck duo. Hand pass to Ross. Works it away to Baker. The hand pass to Shea Bolton at left half forward. He looks inside 50. Soldo with one arm. Can't complete the mark. As it goes out of play, Bazzo was there just to put enough pressure on. And it's out for a boundary throw in left forward pocket for the Tigers. They lead by 4 points.
So Soldo and Nankervis today, all time, they're 17-5 when playing together. So 17 wins, 5 losses. It's Nankervis rucking at the moment. Both rucks miss it. Takes a sharp bounce, the footy after hitting the turf. Favours Petruccelli. Hand pass to Shuey. Hands it out wide to Bazzo. Kicks off the back flank, down the wing. And Broad, leaping up, takes the intercept mark for Richmond. So they trap it in their forward half, Richmond. A 4-point lead for the Tigers, approaching time on in this opening turn. 2-1 to 1-3. Nothing up ahead. Goes with a long contest kick to half forward. Natanui kills it from the back, punches it out of play. And a boundary throw in half forward for Richmond.
So the Eagles are investing an extra at the stoppage from their half forward flank. Waterman's probably got to make the 2v1 and not allow Broad to take intercepting marks, because that's what's starting their offence, the Tigers.
Tigers by 4. All of a sudden the inside 50s 10-6 Richmond's way. Nat Nui beautifully down to Red, nowhere to go. Hand pass to Kelly as he broke off the Graham tackle to Jones. Has to jam it on the boot out of defence. High ball towards Willie Rioli. Grimes crashed into his own teammate in Baker. A chance for the Eagles. Darling works it forward to Cripps. Hand pass to Willie Rioli. Has to give it back to Cripps. He charges towards 50. Gets away from Gibcus. Fires on goal and misses out to the left. The shove at the end might have just put him off his kick. And the Tigers lead by 3 points at the 20-minute mark of the opening term.
Hugo Ralphsmith with the kick-out duties. Goes on a bit of a stroll, has a bounce, and then kicks it down the northern wing. Pickett up strong, can't complete the mark. Now has to win it at his feet. He's met solidly in a front-on tackle from Redden. And it was an illegal one, so free kick for Richmond. Marlon Pickett, what a first 20 games he had with 2 premierships in that time. A hand pass away to Dan Rioli, kicks down the wing. Solo stands his ground as West Coast charging over the top. Hoff wins the footy though for West Coast. Half back, hand pass to Natanui, to Duggan, hand pass back to Hoff. That's a neat kick down the wing. He's looked good, the midfielder for West Coast. Finds Redden. Redden across the ground to Shuey.
He's got Hearn on, just has to get it to him on the southern side, and now Wilder still for Darling. Takes the mark between wing and half forward. Has Cripps next in line, chips it over the top to him. He marks it right half forward. Now where to? Richmond have their numbers back, so Cripps just sends it long in the direction of Williams. It never got to him, and Tarrant, standing in front, takes the mark for the Tigers. Switches play to Pickett in the back pocket. Hand pass to Broad, can work it over the top to Dan Rioli. Alongside Willie Rioli at stages in the opening term. Hand pass to Short, who pulls his kick and finds Ross. Jess Webster on the boundary.
Liam Baker has come to the bench for the Tigers with a considerable amount of blood coming from his nose. The doctors are having a good look at the vision, but doesn't look like there's any signs of them doing a concussion test, so just fixing up that nose, and hopefully Liam Baker will get back out there.
Thanks, Jess. Jaden Short turns it over on the wing, so Shuey kicks inboard to Redden. Now further inside the middle of the ground to West. Hand pass away to Hoff. He's up to 9 disposals, going at 100% by foot. Shares it with Hearn. Hearn comes back to Brady Hoff. One of 2 teenagers out there for West Coast. He goes out into the sunshine on the southern wing for Willie Rioli. The bright fluoro green boots. Holding the red, Sharon waiting for something to break up forward. Honours the lead of Jack Darling. It's out wide. Darling trying to keep it alive and does so. Great work. Hand pass to Ryan. Never took possession under pressure from Gibcus. Gibcus got it away to Graham. Hand pass put Edwards under the pump. Ryan passing through. Can't keep it alive. And it's out of bounds. But a boundary throw in and a stoppage inside the Eagles forward 50. 35 out from their attacking goal.
Would have liked the Eagles to go a bit more direct there on the turnover. They went wide and just allowed Richmond's defence just to set up and get the extra numbers back.
6 more disposals for the Eagles, but 11-9 the inside 50s Richmond's way. Nat Nui, Redden combined, back to Nat Nui, no way forward. And the footy spills to Ross, who's tackled by Darling. The ball up 40 metres out from the West Coast Eagles goal at the punt road end. Tigers leading by 3 points. Nat Nui readies himself up against Nankervis, who flew early. One down the tap to Dan Rioli. Hand pass to Pickett, trying to find a way past Williams. Hand pass to Broad on the bounce. He can link up with Ralph Smith at right half back. Takes a bounce with the blonde mullet flapping in the breeze. Hand pass wide to Edwards at right half back. Up to Tom Lynch on the bounce. He picks it up. Sidestep around West. No one comes at him. Looks for options inside the 50. Pokes the kick over the top instead to Ralph Smith. Now where to? 50 from home. Sends it towards Martin. 3 to compete against. And in the end, Barris was able to work his way back and take the mark for the Eagles.
He gives it off to Yo. Yo's kick smothered by Dustin Martin. And the ricochet, the ball goes over the behind line for a minor score. But Dustin Martin with a nice defensive effort. Locks it in the front half and resulting score and kick out for West Coast. Richmond by 4 points, 25 minutes into this opening term.
Yo decides he's going to take the kick in duty, sends it towards Williams, who tries to rise over the top of Pickett, but Pickett claims the mark. Right half forward, 24 minutes gone opening term. Tigers by 4 points. Marlon Pickett looks long towards Soldo. A couple to compete against. Lynch in from the side. Barris can't get it. Running into the open goal is Edwards, who slams it through. The Tigers with 3 on the trot, and all of a sudden open up a 10-point advantage. 3-2-20 to the Eagles, 1-4-10. A costly defensive lapse as the Tigers are able to get out the back.
Well, if there's any young aspiring small forwards out there, watch Shane Edwards in his craft. He started at the top of the 50 and he's trying to provide an option for Marlon Pickett. Didn't get used, so then just burns back towards goal. Just halts his run just enough till the ball hits the hands, then explodes through it. No one can lay a finger on him. He's done that for the majority of his career. His ability to be at right place, right time. And he's just got a happy knack of bobbing up and kicking great goals.
It was smart, wasn't it? Because there's a lot of numbers at the drop of the ball in front. There was no numbers to the side of the back, so there's no point running to the front of the contest when there's all these numbers there. Go to another spot, and he did that and got on the end of it.
Gee, horrid bounce back in the middle, and then Curvis favoured by it. Links up with Graham, and now he's tackled. Ball comes out the pack, and Kelly just sockers it to centre half forward, clears the pigeons. Ryan puts his head over the footy for West Coast, got it out to Gav, centre half forward, kicks to the top of the goal square. Darling one out in the cage. He wins the one-on-one battle with Gibcus. And in his milestone game, Jack Darling can shoot from the top of the goal square.
Well, you're going to get that at times with a first-year kid learning his craft down there. There's going to be times he's up against blokes that are so much bigger and stronger than him, more experienced. So you're probably going to take those losses every now and again to get the better player at the end of the day. Just
the 10th West Coast Eagle to 250 games in the history of this great club. He bangs it through from the top of the goal square, and a goal in his milestone game to celebrate. Darling puts West Coast back within 4 points. Richmond 3-2-20, West Coast 2-4-16. It's the Tigers by 4.
Well, we've already seen so far the Eagles are just trying to play the game of working it up. They don't really want to go long to the Richmond numbers. But when there's a stoppage like that, you do get an opportunity to get 1v1s. And if they can get the ball in long and deep to Darling on Gibcus, like he's going to be in a bit of danger, isn't he? He's relying upon Broad and Tarrant coming across to support. So if the Eagles can get it in quick and get those one-on-ones, it's going to be a dangerous look for them.
Mark Murphy alongside Brett Delidio this afternoon. Matt Clinch and Corbin Middlemass calling the action. Jess Webster down on the boundary with you on ABC Sport. Nat Nui and Nan Curvis to resume their battle. Nick Nat wins down the tap. Short tried to throw a boot at it. It was a bit dangerous. Didn't make any contact. Kelly over the footy now. Trickles clear. Nat Nui with a socker out to Waterman. Could have been dragged off the footy. Still a chance for Kelly. Kick is smothered. The Eagles take it through Redden. Kicks out in front of Willie Rioli at half forward. Tries to slap it to his own advantage against Grimes. But Dylan Grimes far too smart for that. Combines with Ralph Smith. Hand pass to Graham. To Martin on half back. Over the top to Ralph Smith. Here go the Tigers with handball transition. Kicks up to Revolt. He marks at the edge of the centre square. Lynch wants it deep. Oh no, Ryan's run through the mark. Inside the protected zone, and it'll take Jack Revolt from the middle of the MCG to the edge of the goal square.
Well, that was there. You can't argue with that one. He wasn't chasing anyone. He was just basically getting in the way. So I don't mind those ones.
He was sort of near. I think it was Dan Rioli at the time, but then took another step back towards Rewalt, didn't he? And that just alerted the umpire, and everyone in the whole stadium knew what was going to happen.
Point blank range. Jack Revolt has his second. As he kicks it into the second tier at the city end of the MCG. And the Tigers answer straight back. Back to a 10-point ball game. 4-2-26. So the Eagles 2-4-16. 28 minutes gone, opening turn.
And I think Jack realised too that he'd taken half a step to his left and come back towards him, and Jack just went, I'll just run straight towards you, and there's the extra 50 in to make a certainty of it. But it was great ball use, wasn't it, from the halfback flank from the Tigers. They harassed and pressured the Eagles and forced the error, and then the run-off halfback from Ralph Smith was really impressive, and Dustin Martin to find him on the overlap run, and Jack Rewalt finishes another one for the Tigers.
I'll tell you what, in Liam Ryan's defence, though, Jack did take 3 or 4 steps to his right. Probably could have been caught play on, so a bit unlucky, but don't get in the protected area.
Tigers by 10 points. Natanui and Nankervis, as it will be for most of the day. Nankervis wins one here, knocks it out towards the wing. Willie Rioli taps it on, but straight to Dustin Martin. Chucks it on the boot, kicks to centre half forward. Redden up to meet it. Hand pass away to Yo off the back flank. Kicks out to the southern wing. And West takes the mark. It's an interesting hairdo he's got going with the locks flapping everywhere. As he chips short. Out to that outer wing for Cripps. And Premiership Eagle down to half forward. Williams takes the mark, links up with Garth, heads inside 50, and Darling out on the lead takes the mark. It was a superb delivery, but after the bell. And Darling and the Eagles will be denied by just a matter of seconds. positive start for West Coast, despite the fact they're down on the scoreboard. It's Richmond 4-2-26, West Coast 2-4-16. We had one lead change in that opening quarter. The Eagles kicking the first goal, Richmond with 4 of the last 5 as their class has started to show. For Richmond, Jack Rewalt's got a couple. I've got one for Shane Edwards and one for Dustin Martin. While for the Eagles, Willie Rioli kicked the first of the game and Jack Darling in his milestone has the other.
Still to come for round 16 of the AFL. GWS hosting Hawthorn from Giants Stadium. And our next stop will be Fremantle and Port Adelaide. In the VFLW Grand Final, Essendon 26-point winners over St Kilda. This is Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Nominations for your Australian of the Year
are now open.
It's time to reflect on your community
and who you admire.
It's time to show your respect
by nominating
and acknowledging them.
And it's time to celebrate
their story,
their contribution,
and their generosity.
I'm Hamish McDonald, and I'd love you to nominate an inspirational Australian who you think is worthy at australianoftheyear.org.au.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Rioli short to the back pocket. Lawson couldn't take it. The crumb is made by Ryan and Willie Rioli kicks the opening goal of the match.
Graham will swing it out wide to McIntosh. 52 out left half forward. Looks inside the forward 50. Finds Riewoldt. He takes the mark in front of young Bazzo. Left half forward for the Tiggs. He's filled his boots over the years with a bag of 10 here against the same opponents. He starts his day with a major. From the boundary throwing, Soldo tries to grab it out of the ruck. It spills down to Dustin Martin. Stoppage goal coming up. And the champ Martin hooking it across his body puts Richmond in front.
Marlon Pickett looks long towards Soldo. A couple to compete against. Lynch in from the side. Barris can't get it. Running into the open goal is Edwards, who slams it through.
Ball comes out the pack and Kelly just sockers it to centre half forward, clears the pigeons. Ryan puts his head over the footy for West Coast, got it out to Gav, centre half forward, kicks to the top of the goal square. Darling one out in the cage. He wins the one-on-one battle with Gibcus. Just the 10th West Coast Eagle to 250 games in the history of this great club. He bangs it through from the top of the goal square.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Quarter time, Sunday afternoon footy. It's the Tigers leading by 10 points over the West Coast Eagles. 4-2-26 to the Eagles, 2-4-16. Matt Clinch and Corbin Middlemass calling the action. Jess Webster down on the boundary. The thoughts of Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport.
Yeah, Clinch, it was an interesting start, probably a slower start than I thought. Both teams probably feeling each other out in the first 10, 15 minutes of that quarter. The Tigers probably butchered quite a bit of the footy early, couldn't quite get a drop punt to spin, and the Eagles got off to a flyer, obviously kicking the first, but haven't had much of a run of the game since until they finally got that 1v1 down in the goal square with just a quick kick forward and Darling capitalising on playing on an inexperienced defender in Gibcus. But I think for mine, the Tigers have just started to open the game a bit more. They're winning it back across half-back. They're obviously getting that +1 that you've spoken about, Murph, and their ability to spread the ground. We've seen Marlon Pickett had the 11 touches out there on a wing. You can either feast or famine. Sometimes on the wing you can really fill your boots and have a great day, or you can sit on the other end of it. And let's have a look to see the other side. Camden McIntosh had the 2 on the other side of the ground.
Probably playing the offside winger role, isn't he? And as you said, when you do play the wing, sometimes you can just get an absolute heap of it, stays out on your wing, or the other time when you're in McIntosh's position, you're probably on the far side and you're a long way out of the play.
That's it. And I think that's the key for the Tigers at the moment is their ability to win it back first when they're spreading the ground. And we've spoken of Marlon Pickett already and Clinchy's boy Dusty, who's just starting to get going. He's had the 9 touches and a goal already. Had a hand and 4 more scores, equal most on the ground with Willie Rioli. So those 2 boys have started pretty well. But I think for mine, the Tigers just look better right across the board at the moment, whereas the Eagles they won't be displeased with how they've started because they're intense there and they're winning it back. They've just been forced to bomb kick a few times from centre half back.
Yeah, well, Richmond look like the superior side, which we know they are. But they are, it's 6 scoring shots to 6, so the Eagles are right in the game. And then if the quarter had gone for an extra 3 seconds, then Darling has another opportunity from probably 15 out to trim the margin to 4 points. So they're right in amongst it at the Eagles at the moment. And a young kid that's really impressed me so far is young Brady Hoff. So he's had the 10 disposals at the moment and going by 100% kicking efficiency. So his work rate from the half-back line to be an outlet, he's been a really good chain of possession player for the Eagles and just been so composed, which is a really good sign from a young player. That's what you'd love to see, guys who take that extra half a second just to evaluate the space and your teammate to try and put it into their hands rather than just getting the ball as what a lot of young kids do and get the ball and want to get rid of it quite quickly. So he's been really composed and really stood out from the Eagles.
And that's really one of the things that's left to find in the season, isn't it, for the Eagles, as to what they've got in terms of those younger guys. Brady Hoff is 19. It was their second pick in last year's national draft at 31 overall out of Harvey, which is in the southwest, a strong football area down in the southwest of
you're from?
WA. No, it's not. Oh. I'm a city kid, Lids. But
it's just more the strong footy area.
No, they're very strong down there.
I've enjoyed seeing Willie Rioli get a chance through the centre square and try and drift forward. He's had the 7 disposals so far. He's always a really good ball user, so get him up the field and get him involved.
Tigers lead by 10 points. Into the second quarter we go. Nankervis and Nat Nui. Nui wins down the tap. Baker with the clearance for the Tigers, though. Trying to link up with Ralph Smith. Pinched by Kelly. Sends a wobbling kick towards the 50. Awkward one for Broad. Charging at it was Ryan. Was he taken high? No whistle as Ralph Smith comes in and locks the footy up right on 50.
He just tried to lower the knees then, Ryan, and try and draw the high, but Broad was up to the task.
Nat Nui, Nankervis tangle. Nat Nui down to Kelly, who volleys it inside the 50. Pickett underneath. Didn't take his eyes off the footy and takes the mark against Hoff. Kicks it out wide to right half back. Castagna back in the senior side for the Tigers. Marks at right half back. Not a great kick as he dribbles it up to Shea Bolton. Out of play, boundary throw in. What would you expect to see from Jason Castagna with a few other players who have impressed? I saw Clark on debut for the Tigers, bring some pressure. There's probably a bit of competition now with Morris Rioli Jr. as well.
That's it. You just got to come in and play your role, don't you, and perform to a level that they expect.
Got dropped late last year. Jason Castagna hadn't been dropped before that since 2016. And now left out of the team the last couple of weeks. He's in the play again here as Bolton from the stoppage kicks to Castagna, plays on off his backside, a hand pass out to Short, kicks to Lynch down there with Barris. Barris knocks it away for West Coast. Duggan up to meet it. Hand pass to Yo, and Yo just kicks a high ball up into the centre square. Ryan went early, standing at the back, and the mark taken by Floston crashed into Ralph Smith, his teammate. Would have been something special from Liam Ryan if he'd been able to stick up there. That is a shocking kick off the boot. A helicopter inside the forward 50. Would have been tough for Baker to mark. It comes to Kelly. The 1-2 with Hearn. Kelly kicks for Ryan. He's outnumbered on the wing, trying to turn Gibcus inside out. Ryan in the end tackles Gibcus without it. The umpire says it's all okay, and the ball spills out of play.
I'm surprised Ticker's boots have got so many chances. He has not kicked a drop punt yet.
You would have thought he might have changed the boots at quarter time.
Absolutely. Would have been immoral if they were mine.
And different start for Nick Floston. Richmond by 10 points, throwing on the wing.
If for nothing else with the optics, and it's not my fault. Martin gets the clearance. Hand pass to Graham. Veers around onto the right. Kicks towards half forward. Edwards caught behind. Had to spoil against Duggan. He combines with Redden. The Eagles almost out of defence as Yo goes backwards. Barras, long kick up towards Shuey. Had to wait a while underneath it. Allowed Tarrant to slide in and punch it out of play for a boundary throw-in. Tigers by 10 points. 2 minutes gone. Second term on ABC Sport. As Nat Nui readies himself to do battle with Nankervis. Toss back in. Nick Nat underneath it. Wins down the tap, but Graham read it best. Hand pass towards Baker, pinched by Willie Rioli. Hand pass to Kelly, down low for Ryan. Looks up towards Waterman in the middle of the ground. He spots him up. Now looks inside 50. Darling offers a lead. That's ignored. He goes for Petruccelli. Getting back. Floston got a hand to it. Spoils it down. The two scrap at ground level. Jones slides in, but Floston with a toe poke. Got it to Castagna. To Rioli. Almost brought down by Petruccelli. He got him. Great battle of pace.
Wrong bloke. Wrong bloke to take on. Yeah. He's got speed.
It was off his feet, Petruccelli, and still hung on to the tackle. He kicks out wide for Hoff, who's been busy early. Short centering kick inboard to Redden. He's between wing and half forward. Redden just kicks inside the forward 50. Darling hits up to meet it, knocked away from him, falls to Natanui. He just pulls up, chucks it on the boot, and snaps it through for a goal. Nick Nat on his return and a major to add to his column. The Eagles within 4 again. Nick Natanui hasn't played since round 4. West Coast to 3-4-22. Richmond 4-2-26. 4 played second term.
Well, there's not too many ruckmen in the competition or previously who've played the game who can do things like Nick Nat. I know it didn't spin, but still to be able to gather the ball off the front and centre and to wheel onto your left foot, you're non-dominant as a 200-odd centimetre ruckman. It's pretty impressive to watch, and welcome back, Nick Natanui.
It just speaks volumes to forward half pressure, doesn't it? And getting the turnover, keeps it in your front half and gives your forwards another look at it. It was only just a knock-in kick and just give your forwards a chance, but they get a goal out of it.
6 disposals, 12 hit-outs. Now a goal for Nick Natanui on return. And a clearance as he wins it here. Hand pass over the top. True dragged down. He couldn't break away from Baker. No prior opportunity. Says the umpire, he'll throw it up slightly the Eagles' way inside the centre square. Natanui scraps again with Nankervis. Neither got a hand onto it. Baker over the footy. Can't gather. Kelly locked up by McIntosh, and the umpire will throw it up still inside the centre square. Tossed up. Natanui palms it down. The chance for Cripps ran into a dead end, but did release the hand pass. Tough, awkward ball in which the Eagles gather. True was able to get it to Gaff. Squeezed the kick towards half forward. True trying to knock it back to him. Picked up by Graham. Hand pass to McIntosh. To Nankervis. To Martin.
Sweeping hand pass forward to Edwards. So over halfway, Richmond. Here they go. Link up by hand to Dan Rioli. Has a bounce. Pulls up from 50. Rioli all the way home. That's class. A classic Richmond running team goal with the front half handball game in motion. And Dan Rioli good enough to finish it all off on the run. Richmond by 10 points, 5-2-32. West Coast 3-4-22. 6 played second term.
He's thrived since going back to half-back. Dan Rioli, he sniffed that turnover. You just see him absolutely put the hammer down. Once he realised that ball was going forward from Dustin Martin, had a sniff. I thought he absolutely sizzled Tom Lynch here. He was there for a nice little lay down, easy chip forward. And then I thought he was going to the fat side with Jace Castagna out there, but he's love running half-back, so he pinned the ears back and want to go for home.
We had a little sneaky look over his shoulder, didn't he, and saw no one in the vicinity and saw about 40 metres of grass in front of him and said, I'm going to take 2 bounces here and just put it straight through the guts. And he's been an absolute star this season off the half-back flank.
Career best, 20 disposals, 5 marks per game and goals in 4 of the last 5 matches for Dan Rioli. Back in the middle, Redden gets the clearance of the Eagles, can't link up with Williams. Soldo's in there, hand pass to Dan Rioli, chips it to Ross, inside the middle of the MCG. As players streaming past in the yellow and black, decides to push back behind his mark and chip it over the top. And Dustin Martin has it. Veers out to the right, wants someone to lead towards him. In the end, just bombs it long towards Revolt. Brought it down against Yo. Charging in Jones. Shea Bolton got him, holding the footy. You shall not pass. And Shea Bolton wrapped up Jermaine Jones, and there was nowhere to go.
We gave him every opportunity to get rid of it, but by the third or fourth, he said, "No, mate, you've had enough." A great tackle from Shea Bolton, another forward half turnover.
Steps out on the right, snaps across his body, and puts through back-to-back goals for the Tigers in quick succession. They skip out to a 16-point advantage, the biggest lead of the match, 6-2-38 to the Eagles 3-4-22. 7 minutes gone, second term on ABC Sport.
Well, the Tigers' last 2 goals have just been built off their DNA, which is pressure around the contest and pressure up forward. So we saw the last contest 2 goals ago where the pressure around the ball was just elite and Rioli gets on the end of it. That one, Shea Bolton just too good, just in the tackle. As you said, 3 or 4 goes for Jermaine trying to get the ball out of D50, but just too good in the tackle. And then the class of Rioli and Bolton to put it through the big sticks there. Starting to look very ominous at the moment, the Tigers.
Shea Bolton up to 27 goals for the year. Puts him second in the goal kicking behind only Tom Lynch at Tigerland. Back in the middle. Kelly just knocks it out to the wing. Here's Williams, who's relieving Natanui in the ruck. Hand pass to Gaff, kicks to centre half forward. West competes, but Gibcus knocks it away. Footy comes back to Kelly, though. Feints to hand pass, settles on the run. Tim Kelly, beautiful finish. Answering straight back for West Coast. Just collected the footy. Dummied to hand pass on the inside and then thought, to hell with it, I'm going to put it on the boot from 48 out and straight through it goes. 4-4-28 West Coast. Richmond 6-38. It's back to 10 points. The Tigers' way. 9 minutes played, second term.
Yeah, as you called, Corby, you sort of just like, I can't really see anything else I like. I'll put it out in the platter. No one really wanted to come at him, and he just said, I'll just bang this one through. Great work rate from the initial stoppage, though, to get there from the centre bounce. Working forward. Always good when you get your mids to kick goals like that. So, well done, Tim Kelly. It's probably a goal they needed, too, just to get them settled.
Yeah,
the Tigers had the bit of a run on.
Had 11 disposals so far, 5 clearances and a goal, so he started red hot.
Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio with you. Tim Kelly's third goal of the season. Here he is back in the middle, can't get around Shea Bolton, who now becomes the tackler on Yo. Good luck trying to clear him. Yo threw it on his boot, did get it to Shuey at halfback. Half pass back to Kelly, to Shuey, runs away from Morris Rioli Jr., kicked over the head of Willie Rioli. It wasn't cleared by Vlosten. The Tigers take it though through Dustin Martin, kicks up, lace out to Shea Bolton. Kelly left flat-footed, Bolton could scare it off, the end worked himself inward, dead end. As the pressure came from Bazzo, couldn't find Jack Revolt. And Yo's able to combine. Bazzo back to Hearn, back pocket, under pressure, kicks towards Pickett, at half back, running onto it for us. He might have been legged. Noah Richmond free kick. And it's going to be the way of Marlon Pickett in the right forward pocket.
Is that for holding on?
Yeah, I think it's for a little hold.
Non-officiating umpires paid the free kick.
Yeah. Didn't really see that one, Murph. Did you see it?
No, well, it was a little bit of a hold, but it just looked like the play before was going to be a walk-in goal. It's just a matter of who was going to kick the goal, but somehow Bolton sort of made a little bit of a meal of it, but the Tigers put on pressure once again.
Right forward pocket, Marlon Pickett from 35 metres out, steers it straight through the middle. He grabs at the yellow sash. There's a happy celebration with his teammates. I think it was just the lingering grab of the jumper from Brady Hoff, which the umpire spotted, which resulted in the shot on goal. So the Tigers answer straight back. Goal for goal at the moment, a 16-point advantage. Richmond's way, 4-4-28. The West Coast Eagles to Richmond 7-44. The Tigers with 3-2 in this second quarter.
Is there something in the celebration with the tug of the jumper?
Is that because he's West Australian, or
was it maybe you guys didn't notice me? All of a sudden I made a home here at Richmond and won 2 flags in 20 games.
Oh, we'll ask that one. Just go down there and interview him after the game. Hopefully we can get him if they win. And ask him just about it, Corb. I know you like to dig if
he doesn't do it for every goal he kicks.
No, he doesn't, does he?
No, it's an interesting celebration from Marlon Pickett. 16 points, Richmond's lead back to an equal game high. In the middle, Shuey grabs it out of the centre square, kicks to centre half forward, no mark, spills down to Kelly. Kelly got it out under pressure illegally, threw it to Willie Rioli, and a free kick for Vlosten at centre half back. Let's see how this goes. It hasn't been his day by foot so far.
There we go.
He comes wide to Broad and hits the target. And Broad, he has a shocker off the side of the boot, turns it over to Hearn. Hearn just bangs it back 60 metres to a one-on-one. Grimes goes early, Darling stays down, out the back. Cripps will run onto the loose footy, into the open goal and pop it through. And the Eagles hanging around. Back to a 10-point game. And Jamie Cripps just out the back running downhill onto the loose footy. And an easy goal from the top of the goal square. Richmond 7-2-44, West Coast 5-4-34. 10-point game, 13 played in the second.
Love you, Nathan Broad. Just put the hand up to the box. Sorry, coach. I won't go for those. Well, maybe I'll go for him, but I just want to kick drop punt.
Yeah, try and hit it so in the belly of the ball would be a little bit better, because when you do turn the ball over in that part of the ground, especially to a player like Shannon Hurd, who just as soon as he got it just knew that he had Eagles streaming forward and just put it on almost a platter for Jack Darling. Had a great contest with Grimes and Cripps, as he always does. Can't sniff the goal.
Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport. Tigers with 4 goals from turnovers. West Coast Eagles with 3. Nat Nui with a great shark, punched it forward 25 metres. Short runs onto it for the Tigers, works it out to the wing. Over the top of it is Jermaine Jones, gets the hand pass to West for the Eagles. Now a chance for Gaff, bit more space as it gets the left half forward. Kicks for Ryan on the lead. And he marks in the right forward pocket, having lost Dylan Grimes.
I dare say the Eagles midfielders, when they knew that Nick Nanui was coming back today, they would have been licking their lips, because he's just putting on an absolute clinic in the centre square at the moment. And they're just getting very aggressive in their patterns, the West Coast Eagles mids.
Liam Ryan with 13 goals, 6 so far for the season. Out to the left, will kick from about 45 metres out. Slow approach, comes in. He's pushed it across the face. Santa Miners score. Tigers leading by 9 points at the 13-minute mark of the second term. Was there a player who gave you a psychological boost when you ran out alongside? Was it Juddy for the Blues?
Yeah, early days probably Fev as well, because you just knew that if you put the ball in any part of his area, that he'd do the rest.
Broad on the kick out to Grimes, and co-captain who marks in the back pocket. It's just going to go long down the southern boundary line. Pack out there. Rewalt leaps for it. No mark. Spills down to Gaff. Runs into his own teammate Kelly and hands him the footy. Kelly kicks into the pocket. Wanted Darling. No mark. Spills down to Grimes. Richmond with numbers. Hand pass to Graham. To Tarrant. Hand pass to Ross. Put him under the punt. Got it away to Short. Short slick hands to Broad. Through the middle of the G. Kick around the bootlaces of the big man Nan Curvis. Good enough to pick it up. Take on the tackler, give it to Martin, kicks inside 50 to Bolton. What superb team footy from Richmond. From the back pocket, straight through the corridor. And now Shea Bolton can have a set shot 25 metres out, just right of centre.
How about his last two kicks to Shea Bolton? One from centre back to centre half forward, that one coming through the middle of the ground. He's been lasered by foot today. 89% from his 9 kicks. Shea Bolton's been on the end of a couple of them now.
To finish off a superb team goal. Shea Bolton for a coaster-coaster. Through it goes. Bolton with his second. And Richmond jump out to a 15-point break. As many minutes travelled in the second term. Shea's got a couple. And Richmond up to 50 on the board. 8-2 to 5-5. And what a quarter we've had so far. So already we've had 7 goals in the term. And we've only travelled, less than 9 or just over 9 minutes of actual game time in the quarter.
Oh, it's been a great game to watch, and that last passage of play was just awesome in terms of the aggressiveness of the handball and the carry and the chain of possession. I'm not sure about handballing it to the feet of your ruckman, but they worked it out in the end, and Dusty Martin's ball use is just fantastic, and Shea Bolton gets on the end of another one.
Is he making a case for a small forward All-Australian nod, Shea Bolton?
Of course he is. 28 goals so far in the season. He's doing everything right to get a nod.
He is such a weapon for the Tigers, and Dusty with 7 score involvements led, so just starting to come good at the business time of the season. Short gets the clearance of Richmond up towards half forward. Revolt in the pack. It spills to the back. Morris Rioli races after it. Little toe poke into the chest of Hearn. He combines with Gaff, trying to find a way forward, almost brought down by Graham. Gets the hand pass to Petricelli. Jack Revolt slaps it down. Here's Dusty. Goes the outside of the boot towards the goal mouth. Getting back. Morass knocks it through for a minor score. And the Tigers lead by 16 points at the 16-minute mark of the second term.
Shannon Hearn to bring it back into play. Last time the Eagles played here, it was his 300th game. The Eagles well beaten by Collingwood that day. And that was in 2021 during the COVID lockdown, so empty stadium. First outing on the G for West Coast this year as Hearn brings it into Jones, to Petricelli, and now short and wide to Rotham. Defensive side of the southern wing. He goes long in the Darling direction. Pack of 4 or 5 leap for it, close to the boundary line. Kelly keeps it alive for the Eagles. Hand pass to Williams. Kicks inside 50. Willie Rioli drops in the hole in front of Broad. Step in one way, then the other. Kicks inside 50, but turns it over. And then Curvis takes the intercept mark in the D50 for Richmond. We'll go back to Ralph Smith, top of the defensive goal square. The Tigers by a game high, 16 points, 18 played, quarter number 2.
Works it over the top to Jaden Short. He's having a sensational season, the number 1 kicker in the AFL competition, up towards the wing. Soldo had it spoiled away. Barris works it down. And now the umpire with a couple of players over the top of it, Redden, and Castagna calls for it to ball it up. Member side of the MCG, Richmond by 16 points. Nankervis to do the ruck work against Williams. Neither with a decisive tap. Spills to Edwards. He's tackled by Petrocelli. Williams over the top, and the umpire will throw it up.
Tigers by 16 points. No dramas on the benches so far. Lambert and Petrevsky seating the two subs. Up it goes and down it comes to Bolton's advantage. Hand pass away to Short against the boundary line. Kicks back down the members' wing. Castagna and Yo wrestle for it. Yo spoils. Comes back to Castagna. Off the ruckman, Nankervis. Hand pass for Richmond to Dustin Martin. Immediately looks into the corridor. Kicks to Dan Rioli, who takes the mark and pulls up. Then decides to move it on. Kicks wide for McIntosh, who takes the mark. Right half forward for Richmond. And he is a long kick of the footy.
Does he have it in him, Lids, from here?
Potentially. On the run, I'd say yes, but I'm just happy for him getting a little lick as the offside winger. You finally get a touch. You run up and down all day. You finally get a look sometimes. But unfortunately, it's a shot from goal from 50 out on a tough angle. But he loves just playing his role for the team and stays in the team because he just does that all day for him.
He got a big smile on his face, Camden McIntosh. As he moves in, kicks from a step outside the 50. He's dropped, punt, sails, goal when it's on line, but doesn't have the trip. Whacked back to the top of the goal square. Hearn hand pass to Williams for West Coast. From Redden to Yo, his kick, a turnover.
Look out.
McIntosh marks again. Same spot, but a little closer to goal. And he'll kick from right half forward, this time from about 40 out.
How about the pressure from Maurice Rioli there? Just electric on his feet. Everyone thought the ball was either going to be spoiled through, but spoiled back into play, and his harassment just forced the error. And McIntosh finds himself having another shot from about 40 out.
I'll back him in from this distance, that's for sure.
Well, his kick was certainly straight enough. He's just got to do that again. It was right to the goal line, but whacked back in the field of play, which results at a mulligan for Camden McIntosh. Second time over. Kick on target. That's the result he wanted. Tigers out by a new game high. Richmond by 22 points. The Tigers 9-3-57. West Coast 5-5-35 as we tick into time on in the second term.
Well, it speaks volumes for role players, doesn't it? One, McIntosh plays his role, gets that first shot, then comes in, follows up, squeezes up, gets his second shot. But it's also a pat on the back for Maurice Rioli Jr. He doesn't get a heap of the footy, but he's in there to cause havoc in that forward 50 and doesn't always get the tackle, but he's behind you and he's putting pressure on that, as we could see with that forced kick from Yo. Makes it not go as far as what he would like and puts him under pressure and gets a team goal versus an easy clearance for the Eagles.
It's an equal career best. 3 goals the last time these two sides met, in which the Tigers won by 109. Nat Nui with a little toe poke towards half forward. Graham was taken high. Richmond take the advantage. Here goes Dan Rioli. Couple of bounces through the MCG. Spots up Morris, who marks directly in front. 40 metres out from goal. And now a chance for his reward for his good defensive work earlier.
That was just a nice little touch finish, wasn't it? I think he saw Morris was the one who's leading his space. He's like, oh, I'll look after you, brother. And he just dropped it off to him. Here's a reward for all your defensive pressure.
Kicked a big goal late last week against the Cats. Maurice Rioli comes in, lights at the moment at left the boot, straight over the goal umpire's hat. And the famous family legacy, the Riolis are on the board for both sides. Dan and Willie, and now Morris joins the party. Richmond by a game-high 28 points, 10-3-63 to the Eagles 5-5-35. 22 minutes gone, second term.
Geez, their outside run, the Tigers, is pretty exciting to watch. You talk about the half-back flankers in Vlosten and Rioli that we've spoken a little bit about today, but have Pickett on a wing as well, and your mate McIntosh out there on the other side. They play their role. They hold their balance really well on the outside, and it just allows the guys on the inside to hunt and to pressure at the contest, and that's what their game's built all about, is just putting pressure on opposition. And they're sort of getting dust a little bit out of the middle, but their pressure's getting an opportunity to win the ball back, and their half-back flankers are just causing absolute havoc at the moment.
All 3 Riolis in the same game, just the second time they've all played on the same sporting field, and All three with a goal, as Clinchy mentioned. Tigers by 28. Ball works its way to the northern wing from the restart. Hoff, hand pass away to Redden. He shares it with Shuey, out to Duggan. Kicks to half forward for West Coast. Gibcus whacks it away. Here's Baker, knocks it back over his head where he knew he had numbers. Bolton, hand pass to Gibcus, back down the wing, but turns it over. And Liam Ryan, fresh off the interchange, wants to take on Morris Rioli, who stands the mark. Now he goes, shares it with Hearn. Ryan from the wing, kicks to half forward, and Waterman marks. Trying to draw Vlosten on the mark. Ump says play on. Waterman kicks a high bomb into the forward pocket, and an easy kill for Tarrant, who punches it out of play. Forward pocket for the Eagles.
He had Liam Ryan just on the outside. There would have been an easy little handball, but he sort of hesitated for half a second, and then the option was gone, and ended up just going long into a 2v1 contest. So lucky enough getting a stoppage inside forward 50.
Richmond with 6 goals to 3 in this second term. Thrown back in. Nankervis in front of Williams. Knocks it down to Tarrant. Hand pass to Baker in the left back pocket. Kicks up to the members wing. Morris Rioli in a tangle with Jones. Free kick for a hold. And it's going the Eagles' way against Morris Rioli. So Jermaine Jones to take it at right half forward. Former Cat, who seems to have found a spot in this Eagles lineup, across half back. Kicks inside field. Williams up against a couple. Gibcus flew in the front. Dan Rioli back to Grimes. Rather fortunate with his kick. It found Graham. And he can switch play out to Ralph Smith. And there's plenty of space for him at right half back.
They're on Richmond on the counter-attack as Ralph Smith, full stride, running like a track star, has 3 bounces down the southern wing. Kicks to half forward, overcooks it. Wanted Bolton, put it over his head, and Jermaine Jones takes the intercept mark. He goes short to Redden at half back. Couple of Eagles free back out on the southern wing. Hearn leaves it for Waterman, who takes the mark. Waterman kicks to Darling and a one-on-one, and Gibcus reels in a one-hander. And the teenager with the intercept mark for Richmond. And he goes back to half-back. Vlosten goes on a bit of a stroll, but there's nothing up ahead, so he's just going to have to kick it back to Gibcus, who's still on the southern boundary line between wing and half-back for Richmond.
The 19-year-old, 196 centimetres as opposed to Jack Darling's 191. Just an extra 10 years of experience for the 250 gamer against the 19-year-old. McIntosh works it short. It's Graham who comes back into the middle of the ground. Dan Rioli to Vlosten, careful with his ball movement. Finds Tarrant at left half forward. Long kick inside the 50. Lynch flew, can't take the mark, spoiled down. Yo tries to slap it back to Hearn. Got it away from Edwards. Awkward one for Hoff. He has to gather and hand pass to Yo. Hard against the boundary. Steps out around Morris Rioli Jr. High kick to half back. Dan Rioli, courageous. Came in from the side. Got some heavy treatment from Jack Darling. He wins the free kick at right half forward for the Tigers.
It's pretty brave, that, wasn't it?
There was 3 or 4 blokes all converging in the one spot, so well done to Dan Rioli.
So Rioli's going to retreat with the kick to Vlosten, who marks on halfway, and he's closest of anyone on the ground to the West Coast goal. Short kick to Gibcus, doesn't quite get to him, and the teenager loads up anyway from 55 and kicks a bomb. Josh Gibcus, from long range, just decided to kick it to the goal square. He got a bit of a shepherd on the way through, and it bounces a metre short of the goal line and through for 4 points. Richmond with their 11th goal. They move to 11-3-69. West Coast 5-5-35. Tigers by 34 points. A new high water mark in the game.
Well, the concerning thing for Adam Simpson there was that they were able to chip it forward to Josh Gibcus, and he was able to drop it, turn it around, and then still bang it through. Not bad for a young bloke. He's competed pretty well against Darling. I think Darling got him obviously at the top of the goal square in that 1v1, but his last couple of efforts, the one-hander out there on the back flank, and then to get forward and kick a goal, you'd be pretty happy with that for the young bloke.
Gets a look at it on the big screen as he makes his way back to centre half back. Back in the middle. The chance of the Tigers to try and burst clear, but nowhere to go for Baker as he's locked up by Tim Kelly and Petruccelli. Thrown up, Kelly alongside Martin as Nat Nui wins down the tap towards Redden. Can't pick it up cleanly. Lost his footing. Baker over the top now. Petruccelli over the top of him. And the umpire's going to ping him. Petruccelli to take the free kick. He played
50.
on short, almost gave away 50. In fact, he did. Probably by the letter of the law, he almost played on, but short inside the restricted zone. And Petruccelli will be taken within scoring distance by the time the umpire stops backpedaling. Might be a short 50. He's only 40 metres out from goal.
Jeez, that is short.
Very short.
Hasn't really rewarded him there. To letter of law, I think that I like those ones better than those where people try to trick each other and they're both one goes one way, one goes the other. That was just blatantly running into the protected area, so I don't mind those ones.
6 disposals this afternoon for the 50-year Eagle, Jack Petruccelli. He comes in from 45 metres out. Not a bad kick, it just faded left. And the wrong side of the left goalpost for a minor score. So the Tigers have kicked 7-1 in this second term to the Eagles 3-2. It's Richmond by 33.
Broad on the kick out of McIntosh. 29 minutes travelled second turn. Tigers by 33. McIntosh goes on a bit of a run. And a long kick towards a pack on the southern wing. Natanui punches it away, but straight into the path to Baker. 1-2 with Bolton. Hand pass into the middle from Baker to Short. He gives it back to Liam Baker. He kicks to centre half forward. Pitches there for Richmond as Pickett trying to run onto it. Can't take it clean. Dug him through traffic. Hand pass knocked away to Dusty. Squeeze a kick inside 50, not 15. It landed in the path of Edwards. The umpire said it was touched on the way through and he was dumped in the tackle. As soon as he grabbed it by Redden, we'll have a ball up. 40 out from the Richmond goal. Umpire chucks it in the air. Nankervis palms it down. Straight to Kelly, though. Kicks into the centre square.
Broad's able to pick it up. Link up with Gibcus. Fires the hand pass to Vlauston. Gets to left half forward. Kicks for Lynch and Hearn. Lynch on the lead. Takes the mark. Perfectly placed down in front of him. And there was little Shannon Hearn could do.
I was just about to say that we have hardly sighted Tommy Lynch so far in this game. Him and Barras having a great contest, but he just lost him there on that occasion. I think the handover with Shannon Hearn, once it was out in front of Tom Lynch, good luck. Shannon Hearn, he's got a lot of size and strength on Hearn, as strong as he is.
Just 2 kicks so far for Tom Lynch. The man who kicked 7-5 last time these two sides met. Comes in, 45-degree angle, just inside 50. Fires it at the right goalpost. And it just faded late, a minor score. Tigers by 34 points. Half an hour gone, second term.
Elliot Yeo on the kick-out duties. Tigers by 34. Alarm bells for the West Coast Eagles. Goes long to the wing. Tarrant just punches it back towards the attacking 50. Here's Redden. He's met hard. Pickett came in to lay the tackle, a little reckless. Got him high. And Jack Redden to take the free. Comes wide to Ryan, but Tarrant covers it. Punches it out of play again. He's got his right hand heavily taped, so doing a lot of work with his left hand. Robbie Tarrant. As we tick towards half-time, Tigers by 34. Natanui palms it down to his home advantage. Got it out to Kelly. West Coast with the footy. Hand pass to Redden. In front of the interchange. Kicks to half forward. Gibcus and Darling. Darling forced to spoil. Worked out okay for Ryan. Hand pass in behind. Darling turns it over. Grimes for Richmond. Hand pass to Tarrant. Not a great handball looking for Gibcus. Tarrant follows up. Wrestles Darling for it. Close to the boundary line. Pack forms. And the umpire says, I'll have it. A ball up. 51 metres out from West Coast attacking goal. A metre in from the boundary line at right half forward.
Tossed up. Nankervis. Natanui tries to take it out of the ruck. Squeeze the kick inside 50. Darling against 2. Tarrant and Grimes spoil it down. Kelly hard against the boundary as the siren sounds for half-time. A dominant quarter for the Tigers in which they kicked 7 goals to the West Coast Eagles 3. It started as a shootout, and in the end the Tigers had left the Eagles in their wake. Having led by 10 points at quarter time, they lead by 34 points at the main break. 11-4-70 to the Eagles, 5-6-36. Just having a look back to that match they played in round 7 in which Richmond had 9 individual goal kickers, but they managed to put on 25 goals. They've got 9 goal kickers to half-time here, including 2 to Jack Revolt, 2 to Shea Bolton, individuals to Martin, Edwards, Dan Rioli, Gibcus, McIntosh, Morris Rioli and Pickett. Meanwhile, for the West Coast Eagles, all individual goal kickers have come through Natanui, Kelly, Cripps, Darling and Willie Rioli. Half-time at the MCG, the Tigers leading by 34 points. Shortly the match from Giant Stadium about to get underway between GWS and Hawthorn. There's a late change there with Lockie Keefe out, replaced by Callum Brown. And the medical subs, Zach Sproul and Liam Shields, will keep you across that game before taking you west for the Freo Dockers taking on Port Adelaide. The thoughts of Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport.
It was an exciting brand of football, wasn't it, from both sides, really. It was, at the 15-minute mark, they were both scoring pretty heavily, and it was actually good fun to sit here and watch. But the pressure rating from both sides was up, but that's what Richmond really enjoy, and that's their DNA, which we spoke about throughout that second quarter, is just harassing at the contest and their pressure, and then they're just a smart ball use going forward. It was really exciting to watch. The Eagles are in front at the clearances. They're investing an extra number from the half-forward flank up there to try and get that at number with Nick Natanui's dominance in the ruck, but inside 50s at the moment from Richmond, up 31 to the Eagles in 22. So getting a lot of opportunities up forward. Richmond making the most of them that quarter.
It just plays into Richmond's hands, though, playing the extra at the stoppage. Like, you've already got the dominance with Nick Nat. So why make it equal there, but then make it equal behind in front of your footy for you? Because you give Richmond the ability to have Broad, Tarrant, Grimes, drop off, Loston. They're just going to chop you up all day. And we've seen exactly that, haven't we? Yeah. So I think for mine, I'd be looking to equalise at the stoppage and forward of the footy as well. Play your 6-6-6 and just say, right, boys, get to work, make a contest, see how you go versus giving up the extra. Yeah, they're going well, but you're going to get that with Nick Nathan anyway. Yep. Like, he's already given you first use, so trust the process in that sense. And McKelly's been great. He's had the 5 clearances alone in that quarter. So, look, they're doing their best, but I just feel like they're letting themselves down by not being able to lock it in their forward half. And when they did, Petruccelli chase out, get it back in, give themselves another shot on goal, they actually score. But for mine, Richmond just looked far too slick, and led by Dan Rioli off half-back. I think his ability just to sniff that turnover and go and get involved, handball receive, being dangerous off half-back, kick one himself, sets up another. He's been great, and Dusty's use has been fantastic as well by foot. I think he's given them every opportunity to get shots on goal, scores. He's had the 8 score involvements already. I'm not trying to rub it in or back over it, Clinchy, but he's been pretty impressive for the half. It's just for the half.
Can he go to another level? He's averaging 19 disposals per game.
And
that was the question, and you said to me
that he will come good at the business end of the season. Which
it's since reminded me about it every time he's touched the footy today. Cheerio to Dustin.
I am a dog with a bone on this one, but no, he's going well. I think it's where I probably saw the game sitting, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I think you're right in terms of the space around contests. I think the Eagles now need to just make it a 6v6 contest ahead of the ball and back in the Natanu'i dominance in the ruck and back in their midfielders, and especially off the centre square bounce as well. I think that Richmond are getting a Dan Rioli just to come straight flying in off the centre square to try and get an extra number in there as support, because Natanu'i had a few that were the extended sort of hit out to space, and the Richmond defenders were just coming in off the square trying to just block up that space and pressure as best they could.
Tigers by 34 points. The thoughts of Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport. Jess Webster down on the boundary, Matt Clinch and Corbin Middlemass calling all the action. Let's get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. The State Emergency Service in New South Wales has carried out 29 rescues over the past 24 hours as torrential rain continues across Greater Sydney. A young woman was rescued from floodwaters in Holsworthy after hanging onto a pole for over an hour. SES Commissioner Carleen York said she was disappointed in people continuing to ignore flood safety warnings.
We asked the community to be really aware of the risks in driving around or walking around. We had one example where a person was walking through floodwaters and got swept away and had to be rescued and were unable to be rescued for an hour and hanging onto a pole. You know, it's extremely dangerous out there. Stay out of the floodwaters, and we always warn don't drive through floodwaters.
The Nepean River in Sydney's west continues to rise. Deputy Mayor of Penrith City Council, John Thane, says the river has risen faster than expected.
Particularly to residents around South Penrith and Penrith area. The SES has asked us to help supplement their sandbag effort. So there'll be 1,000 sandbags that are available from Jameson Park the Bat Street end this afternoon.
A regional governor in Russia says dozens of residential buildings have been damaged in the city of Belgorod in blasts that have killed at least 3 people. He says at least 11 apartment buildings have been damaged and 39 homes, including 5 fully destroyed, in the city which is near the border with Ukraine. Local authorities are investigating the cause. The news agency Reuters says it's not been able to independently verify the reports, and there's no immediate reaction from Ukraine. Health experts warn that as COVID-19 cases rise across the country again, a return to mask mandates should be strongly considered. 2 new Omicron variants are being blamed for a spike in the numbers of infections and deaths. Melbourne University epidemiologist Professor Nancy Baxter says it's vital that people take precautions during this latest wave.
So we are getting to a situation where there are going to be more cases, more hospitalizations, and more death. And the thing is, right now, we are not doing anything to protect ourselves, whereas before we were doing a lot more to protect ourselves. So it's hard to know how high that wave is going to go. But we're not back to, the Christmas break.
South Australia has recorded another 2,413 new cases of COVID-19. SA Health says 6 people with the virus have died, including 2 men in their 70s, 3 women in their 80s, and a man in his 90s. There are 226 COVID patients in hospital, including 8 patients needing intensive care and 1 person on a ventilator. Americans are having their 4th of July holiday plans disrupted by chaos at US airports. A shortage of pilots and crew has led to the cancellation of more than 1,000 flights across the country over the Independence Day long weekend. Consumer groups say airlines should have planned better as more people want to travel with COVID infections currently in decline in the US. Independent Senator David Pocock says a bill giving the ACT and Northern Territory power over voluntary assisted dying laws must be voted on as a priority. There's a long-standing ban in place that means territories can't legalise euthanasia, despite all states passing voluntary assisted dying legislation. The federal government expects a bill to be presented to Parliament within weeks, giving the ACT and Northern Territory the power to debate and pass those laws. Senator Pocock says it must be taken up quickly.
There are a number of people in the ACT who have terminal diagnoses that they're facing sort of end-of-life choices, and they want to have that choice. So my view is that we need to get this done as quickly as possible and ensure that it actually passes both houses, and I'm having really good conversations to try and make that happen.
Police in Nigeria have rescued 77 people from a church who said they were waiting for the second coming of Jesus. The BBC's Ishak Khalid has the story.
A police spokesperson told the BBC the church had been raided after a mother complained to the police that her children were missing and that she suspected they were in there. The Nigerian authorities say the victims, children and adults, had been invited to the church by clerics who told them that the second coming of Jesus was expected in April. Some of the children left their schools to witness the event, believing the world was coming to an end. But when nothing came to pass, they were told Jesus was not now expected until September. The pastor of the church and his deputy have been arrested.
This is ABC News.
If you love sport, we've got the exact podcast for you. ABC Sport Daily, your daily sports conversation.
Getting knocked out at the quarterfinals of an Asian Cup.
Calamitous.
You don't want to be known as the player that lost the Ashes.
And these roundabouts on narrow roads, and the riders are freaking that the race will be going too fast into these roundabouts and some of the guys won't be coming out.
They've got to walk into the Queensland Origin Temple and tear everything down.
You can find it wherever you get your podcasts.
Winter on ABC iView is chilling. I mean thrilling.
I may have found something. You're still playing the same old game of chess. So what game are you playing?
With entire seasons to keep you guessing.
What about loyalty? What about friendship? What you did. Dishonour's all gone.
Mystery drama and Troppo, chilling cat and mouse in Killing Eve, plus Total Control, You Can't Ask That, and so many more.
So, when does the show start?
Snuggle in and chill with the best this winter. Stream for free on ABC iView.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL. On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Breton just kicks inside the forward 50. Darling hits up the metre, knocked away from him, falls to Natanui. He just pulls up, chucks it on the boot, and snaps it through for a goal. Nick Nat on his return and a major sweeping hand pass forward to Edwards. So over halfway, Richmond, here they go. Link up by hand at Dan Rioli. Has it bounce, pulls up from 50. Rioli all the way home. That's class.
Nat Nui with a little toe poke towards half forward. Graham was taken high. Richmond take the advantage. Here goes Dan Rioli. Couple of bounces through the MCG. Spots up Morris, who marks directly in front. Morris Rioli comes in, likes at the moment it left the boot. Straight over the goal umpire's hat.
So Rioli's going to retreat with the kick of Loston. He marks on halfway and he's closest of anyone on the ground to the West Coast goal. Short kick to Gipkus, doesn't quite get to him. And the teenager loads up anyway from 55 and kicks a bomb.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Sunday afternoon footy, half-time at the MCG. It's Richmond leading the West Coast Eagles by 34 points after kicking 7 goals to 3 in a dominant second term for the Tigers. 11-4-70 to West Coast 5-6-36. Couple of goals for Shea Bolton and for Jack Revolt. Meanwhile, for the West Coast Eagles, there's 5 individual goal kickers. Matt Clinch and Corbin Middlemass call the action. Just Webster down on the boundary. Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio, your experts on ABC Sport. Tiger from Bendigo has been in touch on the SMS 0437 774 774. Would love to see the Riolis, Dan and Willie play on each other. They did at one stage in that second quarter, but it might have just been a stoppage. Lids, if you like the heavy stuff, take a look at the Doors. That's from Andy and Wodonga.
Yeah, all right, I'll have a listen. I know a couple of their songs, but Corbin was just singing me a few just before. If it sounds like Corbin singing, I won't be listening much more. But
it's similar. It's very similar, sort of
to Slipknot,
to how I sing their tunes. But I think that I've heard a bit of Lids' stuff in travelling in the car with him, and I wouldn't say the Doors are in the same company of the stuff.
What would you give him in terms of out of 10, like for music?
Different taste to me, but it's.
I've got a large variety though.
Yeah,
my old man started me very young on this, like in the 70s. Come right through Dire Straits and Deep Purple.
An eclectic music taste?
Probably, but I listen to rap, I listen to heavy stuff, I don't really care. A bit of acoustic stuff, I'm pretty open to most.
Well-rounded.
I would have thought, probably the best in the box. But
if you're wondering why we're talking music on ABC Sport, it's because we're discussing the grand final pre-match entertainment in which Robbie Williams is coming to town. And Pete from Darwin says he'd love to see Guy Sebastian, Keith Urban and Tina Arena an all-Aussie affair. So that might please a few that like the local artists. And Luigi from Bowen says Liz Lidcombe, is it, which is beside Sydney Olympic Park, had 116 millimetres of rain in the last 24 hours. So I hope no one suffers an injury in that match between the Giants and the Hawks. So that's from Giants Stadium. So we'll keep you across that game for the rest of the afternoon, which has only just got underway. A couple of minutes, about 5 or 10 minutes ago. So
just saw some pictures of it out the back. It looks like an aquatic sport in Sydney today. It's very wet.
The Giants through Tanner Bruin and Jesse Hogan. They lead 2 straight 12 to the Hawks yet to score. It's 11 minutes into the first quarter.
Your man Toby Green wearing the orange long sleeves.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I was actually just mentioned at the start, no one wearing them here. Well, I'm pretty sure Dimmer banned them after I played a terrible game in 2014. He said, right, if you ever wear that again, you won't play for this club. I said, it was the jumper's fault that we played bad, was it? Hence, no one's worn it ever again.
So you didn't wear it since?
I didn't. Well, I've worn it for the Giants, but we played in the snow. Of course, I was going to wear one up there in Canberra, but I never wore one for Richmond ever again. Even when we played Richmond out here, bucketing down with rain, I felt too scared because I knew Dimmer was in the box. He would have, no doubt, been on the blower straight after it.
Jess and the team had the job down at Canadian Park last night. That was a bit of a tough watch. Grant from Hobart says, just thought I'd let you know that Glenorchy in the TSL yesterday got flogged by Launceston. 228 points, the difference. So 237 to 9. Hang on, the screen's just refreshed. 237 to 9. And Glenorchy scored its first goal at the 32-minute mark of the last quarter. So there might be a few games that are a hard watch in the latter stage of the season, but hope none of them are like that. And the Traralgon Tigers says, g'day fellas, if the Tigers don't make the grand final, the pre-match entertainment, he's got a couple of suggestions. one who I haven't heard of before. So they're still
Marceau, you don't want to say that?
No.
You want to
mispronounce it. Thank you, Lids. Always great to have your support. Who is he, Lids?
I've got no idea. I just know
mime, isn't he?
I think he might be, yeah. From way back.
Marcel Marceau?
I think
Marceau. He's the mime, so he doesn't speak.
Yeah, the magic of radio is if you don't know something, you just start to back out of it.
I
you
sense
need your colleagues to kind of go along with you.
Sorry, mate. I don't like backing out. I want everyone to feel a part of our little crew. We're inclusive in here.
0437 774 774 if you'd like to directly correspond with Brett Delidio. He'll be reading the SMSs for the rest of the day as the Tigers and the Eagles are making their way back out onto the MCG. So
I'm just enjoying it a little bit, Clinchy, that you're more in Lids' scope today than I am. So I'm happy for the attention just to stay over there.
It's all because I bagged his man Dustin at the start of the broadcast by just saying I think he's got another level to go to. But anyway, the Tigers have found another level today, especially in that second quarter. So a challenge for Adam Simpson, knowing full well that this would be a good test. Their first game at the MCG. They play the Hawks in a couple of weeks' time. But what do you think would be the main focus for the Eagles in this second half?
Well, I think all I spoke about just before we dropped off at half-time was that just equalise in your front half and make Grimes or Broad, whoever is that spare, accountable. Don't allow them just to get that easy intercept possession and run off, because that's where they're generating that run from Rioli and the other boys down there across half-back. You've just got to get a contest and bring those small forwards in Cripps and Rioli, Ryan into the game. Allow them to get to work, Petruccelli, because they're not getting a sniff because it's just been marked.
Would you put someone on Dan Rioli in this second half? Would you put someone on his back shoulder and just basically chase him wherever he goes and then hook back in and try and get back towards goal and be damaging? I think probably a Petruccelli would be able to keep up with him in terms of leg speed.
Yep.
Is that an option, do you think, for the Eagles?
Well, if you recognise that that's where their biggest threat is, then I think you probably do. But it's hard because sometimes you can give up then something else because you've got someone who's so defensively minded. And I know the reluctance of most coaches these days to play a run with or tag type role. So I think they'll probably back themselves, but I would like to see them equalise and just see whether they can get 6-6-6 right across the board and just challenge the Tigers and not give them so much easy, uncontested possession where they can use the width of the ground. And we spoke about the width during that quarter, and Camden McIntosh actually getting some reward for just staying out there and holding his ground. So just challenge him in that sense, because you're getting great use from Nick Nat. Tim Kelly's winning plenty of it in the middle. You know, we've seen Redden go pretty well in there as well. So I reckon that's just make them more accountable to each other and give a better contest.
So Swamp Thing on Twitter is the keeper of all the great stats. 361 times we've had a Rioli kick a goal in a VFL AFL game of footy. On 2 occasions we've had multiple Riolis kick goals. So 2016 Hawthorn Richmond game, 2022 Sydney Richmond. And for the first time in VFL AFL history, we got 3 Riolis in the same game, each of them kicking a goal in the first half of footy. So 1 for Dan, 1 for Morris, and Willie, of course, kicked the first goal of the game.
You know, Cyril might be watching.
He probably is. He could be. He's watching his nephews or cousins, relations. I'm not sure what their connection is to the whole family there. I know they just speak very fondly of each other, and they do speak to each other regularly, so no doubt he'd be tuning in somewhere.
Dan, of course, originally from the NT as well. A goal for Connor McDonald of the Hawks, and then Callan Ward with a goal. So it's 3 straight 18, the Giants, to the Hawks 1 straight 6. So GWS by 12 points, 18 minutes into the opening term. And, of course, the final match still to come. The Fremantle Dockers taking on Port Adelaide. Did you watch any of Wimbledon last night? Nick Kyrgios with all the shows on display against Stefanos Tsitsipas. Bullying him was the comment in the press conference with some of his antics.
He's on a charge to the tournament, isn't he, Nick? So through the 4th round, it feels like he's got a different controversy every game he plays at the moment.
Feels like if he can apply himself for just 3 or 4 more matches, he could be the winner. Second half underway. It's the Tigers by 34 points.
Natanui grabs it out of the ruck at the restart and then just kicks it inside the forward 50. Darling chases after the 40, tackled as soon as he got it by Tarrant. Ball spits out to Vloston. Hand pass to Grimes. He shares it with Gibcus. Kicks to half-back. Hoff tried to get a hand on it. Spills to Pickett, though. Richmond with it. Hand pass to Morris Rioli. Backs himself in and burns off Brady Hoff. Morris kicks inside the forward 50. Ugly floater. Shea Bolton got there on the hop. Turns. Kicks a drop punt goalward. It's across the goal face. Lynch tries to mark it in the opposite pocket. But it's over the line, out on the full. No change to the score. Richmond by 34 points. The Seagulls just cashing in after a few people had a feed at half-time. Scattered right across the MCG. Richmond by 34.
Barras long out of defence towards Nat Nui. True, front and centre. Hand pass back to Gaff and out of Duggan. Dribbling kick around the boundary line with not much further afield. It rolls out in front of Williams and Gibcus for a boundary throw in. Centre wing on the southern side.
Won't find too many scraps in here from Lids anyways. Just demolished 2 donuts. So,
jeepers.
I like that Merv's picked up on the thread that we are no longer a team.
We aren't. That's it. Right, no holds barred. Look out.
You can catch some strays today in this box.
We're going to have to get some leading teams in. Nat Nui takes the clearance. Hand pass out to Kelly. Pinched by Baker for the Tigers. Hand pass to McIntosh. Down low from Martin. Can't gather. Kelly works him off. Hand pass came from Shuey to Gaff. Kicks to half forward. Darling comes out to meet it. Feeds the hand pass to Cripps at right half forward. Into the 50. Ryan on the lead. Marks on his chest. It was better ball movement from the Eagles, maybe over-possessing the footy a little bit, but got the outlet hand pass to Jamie Cripps, and he's always been a good mover of the footy. Liam Ryan had a shot early in the match. He wasn't able to capitalise then. Chance to kick the opening goal the second half from just inside 50 out to the right. A slow start. He's going to give it off in the end. Spots up Williams all on his own, and he marks 10 metres closer to goal. Pretty much directly in front, 35 metres out.
Well, not many coaches that I've known over the years, Merv, are too happy with those sorts of things happening. Just falling asleep, just playing every minute, making sure you switched on. The Tigers midfield and defenders had just dropped off a little bit there.
200-centimetre Big Eagle, who's kicked 8 goals so far throughout his career. A chance to strike one here. Williams comes in and he sails it out to the left. I wonder if Adam Simpson would have been happier with the footy in the hands of Liam Ryan. It wasn't to be. Tigers by 33 points.
Playing his 20th game, Bailey Williams got a winning record with Nick Nat, so he's 6 wins, 4 losses. Without him, 1-8. They'll be pleased to have Big Nick back today to give him a chop out as Vloston from the kick out up the half-back. Spills down at the hands of Rewalt to Baker. Kicks down the wing. Morris Rioli out after it. Taps it in front of him. Cops an unkind bounce. And Jermaine Jones for the Eagles has got it. Yo's gone down in back play. Picks himself up okay.
Meanwhile, has he done a string, I think?
Oh, I think he might have, yeah. He looked a little proppy, and now he still hasn't got back into a jog, just walking towards the bench.
He's definitely done one.
That took my focus. The kick from Jermaine Jones went out on the full, so he's had wretched luck at the moment, Elliot Yeo, and he's walking off the ground. Looks as if he's done a soft tissue injury.
Up towards half forward. Duggan takes the intercepting mark for the Eagles. Looks to come into the corridor to Gaff. The kick missed him. Opens it up for McIntosh. Gathers. Hand pass to Baker. 45 metres out. Goes short. Looking for Lynch. It's pinched by Castagna, who dribbles through a goal. Jason Castagna with his first. And that's the beauty of the Tigers this afternoon. Intended for Lynch. Castagna took it. Ran into the open goal. And the Tigers have their 12th. 12-4-76 to the Eagles 5-7-37. 4 minutes gone in the third term. Jess Webster on the boundary. That doesn't look good for Elliot Yeo. Looks like his afternoon might be done.
Yeah, I think it is, guys. He's just sitting on the bench having a long chat to the doctors, looking a bit disappointed. He's still sitting in the front row of the bench, just sort of chatting through the injury with the doctors. Sam Petruski-Seaton, the medical sub, is still on the back bench, although he's on the phone, it looks like, to the coaches at the moment. So we would expect the medical sub to be activated shortly.
It's disappointing, isn't it? You don't want to see your good players missing football. That looks like a pretty significant hamstring.
It's only his 5th game of the year, barely played last year at all. Just the way that he did it, sort of dropped to his knees. As soon as he was down, he sort of looked disappointed and then sort of got up and just turned around and walked straight off the ground. Knew that his afternoon was done. More from Jess in a moment. Back in the middle, Natanui wins it down. Young True with the big fend off. The first gamer wins possession. Hand pass away to Kelly. Kelly shares it inside to Cripps. Cripps kicks across the body. The immediate answer. One back the other way for West Coast. They need a few more of those. Richmond by 33 points, 12-4 to 6-7. Jamie Cripps has got a couple this afternoon. 5.5 minutes played in the third term. Now focus on the West Coast bench and Elliot Yeo, Jess Webster.
Yeah, they've got the ice out now, so ice on the back of that right hamstring. Almost an expressionless look on the face of Elliot Yeo, and Petrevski-Seton doing some run-throughs on the sidelines, so he'll come into the game shortly. A really disappointing end to the game for Yeo.
Thanks, Jess. He's playing his third on the trot after a calf injury, the concussion, the suspension in the waffle, finally back in the AFL side. That been questions about his fitness, and unfortunately another injury.
Yeah, Morris Rioli Jr., the one that you don't want to be chasing on the wing, do. So, look, it's unfortunate for Elliot Yeo. Hopefully it's not too bad, but looks like quite an extended period on the sidelines for him.
So the Eagles get one back to cut the margin back to 33 points. Natanui wins down the tap to Shuey, who's breaking the tackle of Graham. Hand pass to True, who's had a couple of good moments. Combines with Jones to Kelly on 50. Flying shot on goal. He's kicked it. Beautiful clearance work from the Eagles. And it finished in the hands of Tim Kelly. And he knew he was the man you wanted to have the footy in. The Eagles with a couple of goals in a couple of minutes to cut the deficit back to 27 points Richmond's way. 12-4-76 to the West Coast Eagles 7-7-49. Tim Kelly with his second.
Well, that's where their advantage lies, doesn't it, with Nick Nat in the centre square. Bounce is just giving the Eagles midfielders first opportunity of the ball. Zane True has had a few good little passages of play in the last
How good was that stiff arm?
couple of minutes. A stiff arm from a young kid just to back in his talent and to say, no, I'll just fend off here and then go to the ball and handball again and be involved in that possession of play. But you love watching Kelly, don't you? Tim Kelly is just a really smooth mover and kicked 2 goals now from centre square bounces.
Nick Natanui back for West Coast. A sight for sore eyes and back-to-back clearance goals for the Eagles to try and make it 3 in a row. Nick Nat does it himself. Kicks to centre half forward. Williams stands under it. No mark, spills to Cripps. Hand pass out wide for Hoff. He has to try and contend with Pickett. He's outnumbered. Bolton comes and lends a hand for the Tigers off half-back. Takes on Hoff and works his way through traffic. Hand pass to Baker. Kick smothered. Redden knocks it down and out of play. So a throw-in 60 out from the West Coast goal. And the Eagles just with a little pep in their step here. Back-to-back goals for the first time in the game. 8 minutes into the third term. Tigers by 27 from the throw-in. Natanui down to Baker of the Tigers. Hand pass to Short. He just chips the kick down the wing. Bolton in the box seat. Doesn't take the mark, but got some front-on contact from Andrew Gaff.
Bolton can work it over the top to Baker. Jess Webster on the boundary. Come back to you, Jess. A goal for Harry Morrison. The Hawks 2-1-13, trailing the Giants 3-1-19, approaching quarter time there. Baker short to Graham. Still outside the attacking 50.
Just at that last stoppage, Eagles holding 6 forward, so we get what we want, Lids.
Revolt offers the lead, comes charging out. Barris punches it away. A chance for Redden. Hand pass to Kelly. Rotham tackled by Pickett. Didn't get a hand pass away, holding the ball. And the Tigers will get it back inside forward 50. Marlon Pickett just so dangerous with his attack on the man and couldn't get a clean hand pass away. And a chance for Pickett to kick his second. Set down to Jess Webster.
So an injury concern now on the Tigers bench. While we were looking at Elliot Yeo, Dustin Martin went down into the rooms with the doctor. He's just re-emerged, putting the jacket on. Kane Lambert with the jacket off. He's going to come into the game.
Pickett deep in the right forward pocket. What a classy finish. It never looked like missing as he thread the needle from the right forward pocket. And Marlon has a couple. Tigers back out by 33. 13-4-82 to the Eagles 7-7-49. So it's all happening on the benches.
Yeah, I'll say. You never ever see Dustin ever have anything soft tissue-wise, and that's what you would assume this is, that he's either that or he's not feeling well. Too much of the footy clinching potentially. He's just said, oh, that'll do me. But I don't know. I've just never seen him have anything soft tissue-wise for him to come off the ground. So I'm interested to know what the actual reason is. But lose one good player, replace him with another, and Caden Lambert coming onto the ground. So good for him to get another run under his belt.
He hasn't got any ice on any part of his legs or anything at the moment, so we'll stay tuned to that.
So he would have only missed, 15 games or something in his entire
Hardly
career.
at all.
Dustin Martin, similar to Jack Darling, who celebrates his 250th today in the middle of the ground. Williams got it out of the ruck, kicks it to Cripps, centre half forward, bangs it deep into the forward pocket, but Grimes underneath at the intercept mark for Richmond. Comes out to the opposite back flank to Morris Rioli. Richmond by 33. Morris kicks for his skipper. Nankervis can't take the juggled mark, and pressure from Petruccelli. It's out of play, so a throw in between wing and half forward for West Coast. So just recapping all that, a suspected hamstring for Elliot Yeo. He's been subbed out, looks like a serious hammy. Samo Petruski-Seaton is into the game for West Coast, while for Richmond, Dustin Martin has been subbed out. Kane Lambert on for his first minutes.
Williams wins down the tap for the Eagles towards Redden. Shea Bolton's in there, got it to Nankervis, tackled holding the footy. The Eagles will take it back on the wing. Tim Kelly's having a good term. He has it, having laid a good tackle. Jamie Cripps Redden is free. Spots him at left half forward into the 50. Great ball movement. Spots Waterman, who comes charging out and marks in the left forward pocket. He'll kick from right on 50.
You spoke of Tim Kelly having a good term. He's having a good game. Clinchy.
He's been terrific.
Up to 22 disposals now. Kicked 2 goals and nearly could have had another one. Jamie Cripps didn't sizzle him running through 50 from the centre bounce. He's charging hard forward and really challenging the Richmond mids at the moment.
8 clearances as well for Tim Kelly, including 4 centre bounce clearances. Footy in the hand of Jake Waterman. Hard out to the left. Veers out to the right, strikes it from 50, hits it flush. Right on line with the left goal post, and it slams into it, almost at the top. Probably deserved better. It was a good strike. Tigers lead by 32 points.
Vlauston brings it in to Jaden Short up against the boundary line, half back, kicks down the wing. Lynch the target, Barris in the box seat takes the mark and immediately moves it on for West Coast. So a bit of go in it for the Eagles at the moment. Hand pass to Petruccelli, kicks inside 50, Nankervis suited by the kick. Chops it off for Richmond. Well telegraphed switch across the goal face, finds Broad. Broad a short kick to McIntosh, who marks it left half back. Richmond by 32 points. McIntosh goes immediately to Ross, who takes the mark, hangs out his hand looking for a hand pass, finds the run of McIntosh, who kicked it to him. Runs away from Willie Rioli, up into the front half, kicks from the southern wing down to half forward. Again, it's Barris leaping up to meet the footy. And Tom Barris, the reliable hand in the back half for West Coast. Another intercept possession coming up. Eagles trail by 32 points. It's Richmond controlling the game. 13 minutes played in this third term.
So Duggan looks at options out of defence, decides the best is banging up to Tim Kelly, who nudged Ross underneath it and takes a good mark. Possession number 23 coming up. Leading possession getter on the ground. Ahead of Pickett with 17 and Dustin Martin subbed out of the match. Kicks to Darling on a long lead. He takes the mark in front of Gibcus. Game 250. Now where to? As he looks towards Williams and Ryan at half forward. Just pokes it in that direction. Backing back was Redden. Couldn't take the mark as Dylan Grimes spoils it out of play. And a boundary throwing it right half forward for the Eagles. It's Richmond by 32 points at the 13-minute mark of the third term.
You made mention of Tom Barras before, Clinch. He's been terrific, especially in the last 5 minutes, playing in front of Tom Lynch and just taking away the space and reading the ball.
Elliot Yeo with the hammy on his right string. With his arms crossed in a hood, he doesn't look too happy. Subbed out of the game for West Coast from the boundary throw-in. Shuey tumbles a kick down to half forward. Makes a bit of ground at a boundary throw-in on the 50 for West Coast, still at half forward. Jess Webster on the boundary.
I'm still chasing up the official confirmation of Dustin Martin's injury, but when he did re-emerge from the rooms, he did do a bit of a fitness test, so I don't think it's concussion related. He was limping earlier in the quarter after a tackle, so perhaps maybe an ankle twist or an ankle injury, but I'll let you know when I know more.
Thanks, Jess. And the boundary throw-in. Richmond have it here. Nankervis to McIntosh. Hand pass away to Broad. Kicks on the outside of the boot. Tough one for Shuey to mark. Got hands to it. Can't complete it. Spills down to Rotham. He's tackled. Ball held in. And a ball up 52 metres out from the Eagles' goal at right half forward. Jess.
Got some more news from the Tigers. They're saying it's hamstring awareness for Dustin Martin is the reason why he was subbed out of the game.
Thanks, Jess. Thrown back up. Chance for the Eagles. Williams becomes the tackler on Nankervis. Gave it to Dan Rioli. Run down by Petruccelli. He's gone. Holding the footy. Jack Petruccelli will get a look at goal from out to the right. He'll kick from outside 50.
This is a big kick. We saw Camden McIntosh not able to knock it through from out there. I reckon this is one of the hardest spots on the ground to pop them through. You don't see many guys have set shots from out here and put them through, more so this side of the ground, but great work again. Another tackle in his favour.
21 goals in 2019. He's failed to replicate that as he veers out to the right and was never online out to the right-hand side. A minor score. Tigers lead by 31 points, 15 gone, third term.
Broad goes on a bit of a run, thought about the hand pass and decides just to kick long to Lynch in that tangle with Barris. He wins this one, Lynch, but it's up on the wing. Gets the footy, lays it off by hand to Edwards, trying to get something going. Well-weighted hand pass to Floston. Links up with Graham, he's tackled. Great tackle from Petrevsky-Seton. Centre half back and the sub gets possession back for West Coast and stops the Richmond go forward. He swings it wide to Waterman. Waterman chips it short to Jermaine Jones. What can you tell us about Petrevsky-Seton, Murph?
Yeah, he's been a little bit injured throughout this whole year. He's battling a bit of a knee and he's got a lot of tape on his knee at the moment. So hopefully he can get a bit of a free run at it in the back half this season. But great tackle and great injection to the game. And hopefully he can make the most of his opportunity here.
First year with the Eagles, of course, native sandgroper from Halls Creek. Up in the Pilbara. As the Eagles switch play to the opposite back flank as Darling goes long down the wing, but intercept mark for Grimes. Defensive side of the southern wing for Richmond.
Comes inboard for Broad, who takes the mark at the back edge of the centre square. And switch play to Gibcus. He's got a few metres on Nat Nui and wants to cut past him. Looks straight down the middle, can't find a target. Turns it over to Hearn. The Eagles take it through the middle of the ground to West. He looks towards 50. Graham, the one in the middle. He takes the mark. Slip past Broad. Kicks away inside 50. Unmarked goal, but it's out to the left. No, it's gone through. Just cleared the left bottom of the goalpost for his second. Make that his third. That was a great finish. Running at full pelt. And looked like it might just clip the post on the way through, but he squeezed it in. Another goal for the West Coast Eagles. All of a sudden, they've kicked 3 of the last 4, and they're back within 25 points. 13-4-82 to the Eagles, 8-9-57. 17 gone, third term.
It was almost like he surprised himself that he took the mark and didn't go back and kick it. He just wheeled and went and almost was an inside out over 55.
It wasn't bad, was it? He's certainly got his small forward hat on at the moment. He's burnt Tim Kelly going past. Liam Ryan standing all by himself just inside forward 50. No, I'll have a shot from 55 under pressure.
Genuine blinkers.
Shout out to everyone in the Kimberley where Halls Creek is located too, not in the Pilbara. So just wanted to correct that. Otherwise, everyone in WA will be on me. So,
not the home state.
Big shout out to everyone up in Halls Creek, and beautiful part of the world. Just anything up that way. The Gascoyne, the Pilbara, the Kimberley, you can't go wrong.
It's too late.
Here's Bolton with a free kick in the centre square to go long to the top of the goal square. Contested grab, Tom Lynch, who's been well held. But it was in the perfect spot. He leads Barris to the footy and he clunks it. He's got it 30 metres out directly in front.
Well, I'll give a bloke a rap and how well he's been going, Murph.
The last two contests, let me do that, big Tommy Barras. He's been fantastic all day.
Been monstered by Tom Lynch.
But he's a big man, isn't he? So he's eventually going to get a look in.
Tom Lynch in the Coleman Medal conversation, leading goal kicker at Richmond this year. He moves in from straight in front to halt the West Coast run. He pops it through, and Tom Lynch has got himself involved. He's the 11th individual goal kicker for Richmond. That's a hell of a spread. 14-4 to 8-9. 19 minutes into the third term. Tigers back out by 31.
Well, they've got all the answers at the moment. The Tigers, just when you think the Eagles are starting to come, they've been pretty good this quarter, to be honest. The Eagles, their clearance work's been fantastic. They're lowering the ice quite well, kicking some good goals, but every time it looks like they're going to be a chance to get within 3 or 4 goals. Richmond just get the ball inside 50 and one of their stars bobs up and kicks another goal.
9-3, the clearance is the way of the Eagles in this third term. They kicked 3-3. Tigers have now kicked 3 goals as well. Back to a 31-point lead, Richmond's way. Back in the middle, Nankervis and Nick Nat. Nankervis won it down to Graham, dragged off it by Redden. A chance for Shuey, feeds the hand pass away. True retreating forward, got the hand pass to Gaff. jams it onto the boot. Tough one for Ryan. Darling gets there late. Tarrant spoils it away. Straight into the path of Waterman, though. In the right forward pocket, turns and snaps on goal. It's across the face. And Dan Rioli can't quite bring it in as it bounces through for a minor score to the left. Tigers by 30 points.
We spoke about trying to stop Dan Rioli. He has not sniffed it yet this quarter. About to get his first touch now.
Broad plays on from the kick out. Hand pass to Dan Rioli. Just goes on a little bit of a stroll. 3 bounces against the boundary line. Closed down by Willie Rioli. Kicks hurriedly down the wing. Barras charging out after it. No mark. Spills to Petrevski-Seton. Hand pass back to Barras. He gives it off to Shuey. The Eagles on the wing. Broadcast side to Bazzo. Goes back by hand. Petrevski-Seton. Short kick, a good one. And True takes the mark. Down to half forward, the first game ascends West Coast. Petrocelli takes the mark to the top of the goal square. Hands on it from Darling, front and centre. Ryan gets rid of Floston, pops it through. All class, Liam Ryan. And that's exactly what you've come to expect from the All-Australian forward. And the Eagles are back within 4 goals. Richmond 14-4, West Coast 9-10. Time on in the third turn.
Well, some smart ball use up the field and then just getting the ball in, and Jack Darling did a really good job of creating a really strong contest, and it was a 2-for-1 really, and Liam Ryan, any small mid forward who's worth their weight in gold, knows how to get to the front of the contest, and that's exactly what he did there. And then I didn't mind the little feint left and onto the right foot. Just a little bit of a right green from Liam Ryan, which you'd love to see.
Yeah, Nick Voston's just had a big old bite of that candy piece, and I'll have a heap of that. No, he's gone the other way. Clever. Sucked him in, made him fly, and then just stayed front and centre. Really good forward craft.
We're at Delidio. Mark Murphy with you. Matt Clinch and Corbin Minimas call the action. Jess Webster on the boundary. Nat Nui to Shuey. Hand pass to Redden. Kicks inside 50. Waterman got a bite at it. Couldn't hang on. Got the hand pass away to Darling. Flying shot from True. It's off the face and just missing to the left-hand side. A minor score. Good quarter for the Eagles. 4-5 to Richmond's 3 straight. It's the Tigers by 23 points.
Getting smacked in clearances, Clinchy. Currently 11-3. Nick Nat and the mids are putting on an absolute clinic.
Richmond by 23 after they led by 34 at the half. Grimes short to Dan Rioli. So got it here again, back flank, northern side. Long kick down the members' wing. Lynch leads underneath it, spills out the back to Soldo of the Tigers. Hand pass to the sub in Lambert, who's on the ground for Dusty. Hand pass to Short, kicks to Bolton, running back downhill, gets an unkind bounce. Petrevski-Seton links up with Bazzo. Sweeping hand pass to Barras and on to Duggan at half-back for West Coast.
Looking for the option out of defence as Morris Rioli offers chase. Puts it up towards Cripps on the wing, dragged down by Dan Rioli. He probably got rid of the footy, but the umpire didn't spot that. And a throw in front of the 2 benches. Oh, hang on. Dan Rioli's getting the free kick. Now, I have no idea what that's for.
Put me in that basket as well.
Umpire just kind of pointed and said it's your free kick.
Deliberate?
I don't know. Dan Rioli kicks towards half forward. Castagna had it spoiled away by Duggan. Rotham, Basso, hard against the boundary. Hand pass to Redden, turned it over. Graham for the Tigers, couldn't take it cleanly. Now dives on the footy, knocks it boundary side. Hoff involved. Hand pass to True. A couple of the young Eagles work it to Redden. Non-officiating umpire's blowing his whistle. No one knows what it's for. I think it's over the shoulder and Eagles free kick, but the non-officiating umpire needs to point.
He's not only not controlling Clinchy, he would be 100 metres away.
Yeah. And at no stage gestured as to what the free kick was for. A couple of strange old minutes.
Zane True on debut, the boy from Swan Districts. Long kick down to half forward. Spills through to Cripps. He just knocks it onto his own advantage. Floston leaves his man to come out and get it. Hot hand pass for Gibcus. Has a fumble. Coughs it up. Cripps. Hand pass away to West. Here come the Eagles. West bangs it into the fence for a goal. And the Eagles with their ends up at the moment. Richmond's lead cut to 17 points. West Coast with 5 in the term. They move to 10-11. Richmond 14-4. 25 minutes travelled, third turn.
Well, I could almost know what was going through Josh Gibcus' mind there. He's just like, oh, fumbled it on. No, they're coming. And then it's another little bobble and handball to no one in particular. But well done, Jamie Cripps following up and gave the handball off this time, Murph. So nice little goal assist for him.
It's exactly where defenders don't want to be, isn't it? Running back towards their own goal after making a little bit of an error. So just force the error there, the Eagles, by putting on that forward pressure and get something out of nothing, and they're back within 3 goals.
All of a sudden, 5 goals to 3 in this term. Centre bounce clearance is 7-1. Stand by. Nat Nui wins down the tap, but it's pinched by Bolton of the Tigers. Kicks towards half forward. Castagna can't pull in the mark, but does get the hand pass to Baker. Kicks towards Toby Nankervis. Can't take the mark. Good spoil from Rotham. It spills out. Jones ducked the tackle. Hand pass to Petrescu-Seaton. Works it to the wing. Hoff inboard. Linking up well with True. Back to Hoff to Kelly. Got it to Jones. Boundary side. Great transition. Free kick advantage paid, and it didn't serve the Eagles. The kick into the left forward pocket. Waterman was caught behind, and Tarrant takes the mark. Switches back in front of his defensive goal to Broad. He can work it out to Ralph Smith in the left back pocket.
Dustin Martin and Elliot Yeo both suffering hamstring injuries in this third quarter, both subbed out of the game. Elliot Yeo's looks serious. He's got ice on it. And Richmond saying just awareness around Dustin Martin, so subbed out, but isn't icing that on the bench at the moment despite being taken out of the game. The kick from Ralph Smith, the turnover. Hearn marks on the wing for the Eagles. Short kick to Nick Nat, who's given them a real spark in the middle of the ground, as you'd expect. Long kick inside forward 50. Williams crashes the pack, spills down to Gaff, takes on the tackle, hand pass out in front of Kelly, tries to soccer it through. Vlauston wins it. Sweeping hand pass to no one in particular. Bouncing footy, dangerous spot for Richmond. Kelly gets it, hand pass away to True, who was legged. Free kick for Zane True. And the first game is going to get it. 20 metres out, just left of centre. And a chance to kick a goal on debut. But not only that, draw the Eagles within 2 straight kicks.
They've dominated this quarter, haven't they, Murph? They're really cashing in on some, a hot patch for them. They're outplaying the Tigers at the moment, putting them under the pump, but just winning them at the clearance. Absolutely smoking them still there, 11-4.
Tim Kelly and Luke Shuey just feasting on Nat Nui's dominance with both 8 clearances apiece.
The 20-year-old, their 9th debutant this year, Zane True, pops it through. He's got the answer for West Coast. And every Eagle on the ground rushes to him. Zane True with a goal on debut. And the West Coast Eagles have now kicked 6 of the last 8 in the game. And after trailing by 39 points earlier in the quarter, Richmond lead the Eagles by just 11. 14-4 to 11-11, 27 played, third term, Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy.
Well done to Zane True, the young fella. He's had a really good quarter, been involved in a few of the clearances in the centre square bounce, and there just sold a nice bit of candy, and Ivan Soldo just threw out the leg. Obviously had been sold one, and just a reactionary trip. There was no sort of malice in it, but good from the young kid to sell a bit of candy and go back and put that one through the big sticks.
Presented his jumper in the West Coast Eagles rooms by Adam Simpson, mum and dad both there. What a great moment it's been, and a good taboo. Nat Nui with a clearance for the Eagles, tackled, gets the hand pass to Shuey, to Kelly, to Duggan off the back of the square, dribbles a kick towards Cripps, Dan Riolu gets involved, hand pass to McIntosh for the Tigers, down low for Shea Bolton, he was tackled when not in possession. And the umpire spotted Willie Rioli giving away the free kick. So the Tigers kicked 7 goals to 3 in the second quarter. Dustin Martin out in the third, Elliot Yeo out, and then all of a sudden West Coast kicked 6 goals to 3 in the third term. And we're almost back to where we were at quarter time, where the Tigers led by 10. They lead by 11 here, kick towards Jack Revolt. Beautiful pass from Ross, who got it from Bolton. And a chance for Jumping Jack to answer back.
That was a great kick, wasn't it, Jack Ross? He's pretty good last week too, I reckon, Jack Ross. So good for him to get some continuity, some consistency. That had Bolton sweeping around the outside, but just use that as a dummy to then go forward with it. I like that. Great pass to Jack and good hands from the old fella.
All of a sudden, the Eagles with 3 goals on the trot. They need one of their senior statesmen to step up. Jack Revolt for his third. Kicks it out to the left, and it just clears Tom Lynch. And Barras for a minor score. Richmond by 12 points, 29 minutes gone, third term.
He was almost lucky to make contact with his boot there. Jackie really sliced that one.
Momentum totally with the West Coast Eagles in this third term as Hearn goes short to the back pocket. And Rotham takes the mark. He's just going to have to go long with a contest kick to the wing. Grimes gets away from Darling, drops the mark overhead. Falls into his teammate's path though. Graham hand pass to Ross. to Castagna, draws Duggan, hand pass missed Grimes, out of play. Boundary throw in half forward for Richmond. Jess Webster on the boundary.
I've been watching Jack Petrocelli on the bench. He's been on the bench for 8 minutes now. When he came off, he had a chat to the doctors. I think they might have done a concussion test and he might have to wait the 15 minutes before he can come back on. So it remains to be seen if he's going to come back on for the last quarter.
Thanks, Jess. We'll keep an eye on that. Soldo got it down to Graham Cannon as he got his kick inside 50. And Hearn takes them up. There's a bit on between Soldo and Nat Nui. And it's going to be, I think, a Richmond free kick, although Nat Nui and Soldo are still going at it, even though the umpire's blown his whistle. So on all fours wrestling, and now they get to their feet.
Oh, no. It's turned over on the spot.
He threw Jack Graham to the ground, was it? And then Soldo remonstrated and ended up being, the umpire saw the last bit of it, I think, and that's why it's caused a turnover on the spot, which means Hearn hands ball back to young Liam Baker.
The clever players somehow find a way for the footy to end up in their hands. Liam Baker, the tenacious Tiger, comes in and steers it through. Richmond get the response after the Eagles have kicked 3 on the trot, and it's a costly free kick from Nick Nat, which results in the Tigers' goal. 15-5-95 to West Coast 11-11-77. It's been the Eagles' term. They've kicked 6 goals to 4 in this third term.
Yeah, it's disappointing, isn't it? Nick Nat's been fantastic all day, got involved in the scoreboard and then gives away a free kick. They were both in a wrestle, but obviously there was some sort of malice in it prior, but it was almost the strength of Nick Nat which gave away the free kick, really. So he essentially just ragdolled him, and then Liam Baker gets a shot 25 out.
So he was the late bump on Graham, who got the kick inside 50, and I think Soldo sort of came to remonstrate, and then the umpire spotted the Nick Nat retaliation.
Yeah, the wrestle down.
Grew up a West Coast fan, being courted by the Eagles, obviously off contract. Liam Baker, he becomes Richmond's 12th goal kicker. How's that for service? Natanui straight down the throw to Kelly, kicks inside 50, but Gibcus, the intercept mark, just gets away from Williams. Floodlights on, cloudy day Melbourne, around 12 degrees as Gibcus out of the defensive 50, kicks to the wing, Hearn takes the mark. Keeps it in the front half for West Coast. Redden, like hailing a cab, just calling for the footy out on the northern side. That's ignored. It goes short to Nick Nat, who's now getting jeered after giving away that free kick and resulting goal to the top of the goal square. Tarrant punches it away. They all chase out after it. The mad scramble. Gaff first one there. Peck forms around him. Umpire says ball up. Forward pocket for West Coast in the Dom Sheed pocket. It's the Tigers by 18 points. 33 minutes travelled third term.
Hawks by 3 points. Second quarter action against the Giants. From the ball up, Ross over the footy. Got a hand pass away towards Rioli. Kicks off the outside of the boot. It's across the face. It'll just land short, and Grimes underneath it, able to deal with the high ball successfully. Goes short to Tarrant in the right back pocket, and that might just about do us as Ryan comes charging after him. Tarrant kicks up to the wing, and we could be set for an exciting final term if the Eagles can continue their momentum in that third term. Richmond by 18 points, 15-5-95 to the Eagles 11-11-77. So after the Tigers got out by as much as 33 points midway through that third quarter, the Eagles were able to finish with 6 goals to 4 in the third term to make it an 18-point ball game at three-quarter time. For Richmond, a couple of goals to Shea Bolton and also to Jack Revolt. Individuals to Martin, Baker, Edwards, Castagna, Rioli, Lynch, Gibcus, McIntosh, and Morris Rioli. Throw in Pickett as well. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, 3 goals to Jamie Cripps, 2 goals to Tim Kelly. Individuals to Ryan, Nat Nui, True, Darling, West, and Willie Rioli. Three-quarter time of the MCG. Tigers leading by 18 points. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Ever heard of Helpers High?
The satisfaction, literally, I cannot define in words.
By volunteering our time, we feed our own positive mood and boost our overall physical and mental health. To celebrate the ABC's 90th year of connecting communities, we're asking you to take the 90 for 90 pledge. Just 90 minutes of your time to help a cause that you care about.
One person can make a difference.
For more information, go to our website, ABC Gives.
the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Dutton takes the intercepting mark for the Eagles. Looks to come into the corridor to Gaff. The kick missed him. Opens it up for McIntosh. Gathers. Hand pass to Baker. 45 metres out. Goes short. Looking for Lynch. It's pinched by Castagna, who dribbles through a goal. Jason Castagna with his first.
Natanui wins it down. Young True with the big fend off. The first gamer wins possession. Hand pass away to Kelly. Kelly shares it inside to Cripps. Cripps kicks across the body. The immediate answer. One back the other way for West Coast.
Natanui wins down the tap to Shuey, who's breaking the tackle of Graham. Hand pass to True, who's had a couple of good moments. Combines with Jones to Kelly on 50. Flying shot on goal. He's kicked it.
Cripps, he just knocks it onto his own advantage. Floston leaves his man to come out and get it. Hot hand pass for Gibcus, has a fumble, coughs it up. Cripps, hand pass away to West. Here come the Eagles. West bangs it into the fence for a goal.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Three-quarter time of the MCG Sunday afternoon footy. It's the Tigers by 18 points, 15-5-95 to the West Coast Eagles 11-11-77. Matt Clinch and Corbin Middlemass calling the action. Jess Webster down on the boundary. Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio are your experts at Giant Stadium. It's the Hawks by 3 points. Second quarter action there. 4-5-29, leading the Giants 4-2-26. Our next stop is Perth Stadium. It's the Fremantle Dockers taking on Port Adelaide to preview that clash. Good afternoon to Clint Wheeldon.
Good afternoon, Matt. It's a side with top four aspirations against a team trying to stay in the race for the 8. Fremantle, as you said, against Port Adelaide should be a terrific encounter. The Dockers, well beaten last week by Carlton. They need to win to consolidate their place in the upper echelons of the ladder. Port know a loss will all but end their realistic hopes of playing finals footy. It'll put them 2 games and percentage out of the 8. So a lot at stake. And Matt, as you over there are having a celebration of a royalty of Riolis, we're set to watch the next Burgoyne generation. Jace, the son of Port, premiership player Peter, the nephew of Sean, the 4-time premiership player, makes his debut for Port today. It is a brilliant day. The Brett Delidio weather wall says 0 chance of rain, temperature about 19 degrees. Ben Cameron, Cara Antonio, Bo McDonald and Akash Fodder will be with me for the call. Looking forward to it, Clinchy.
Thank you very much, Clint. We'll be tuning in after this. And Brett Delidio, always interested in the weather in Western Australia.
Especially from Clint.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's given us a couple of, what would I say? A couple of times he's probably underestimated how warm it is over there when we're over here at 12 degrees. But good on you, Clint. Appreciate that.
Everyone wearing a jacket today, Brett. I'm sure you're interested to know.
That's good, mate. That's good.
It's what is it? It's three-quarter time here at the MCG. It's your turn to talk, Lids and Murph. Richmond by 18 points at three-quarter time. The Eagles coming home with a wet sail, though. They are really good in that third term.
Absolutely, they cashed in, didn't they, Murph?
Oh, they were electric in the centre square bounce. We've made mention of obviously Nick Nat quite a bit today. Tim Kelly and Luke Shuey in that quarter just having an absolute feast. They were just dining out on the silver service.
They've missed it, haven't they?
Oh, geez. And I made mention of it in the build-up about when Nick Natanui gets named, the midfielders of the Eagles just would lick their lips because...
You sleep easy that night, don't you?
Oh, well, you just know you can get on the fly and run patterns and run real aggressive patterns, and that's what they're doing in the centre square bounce. And Richmond, when you play against a type like Nick Natanui, you just don't know where it's going to go. So normally against opposition ruckman, there might be 2, at best maybe 3 spots where they can put it. But Nick Nat, the whole circumference of the centre circle is just his. He owns it all. So as a opposition mid, when you're coming up against Nick Natanui, you're just trying to do your best just to try and minimise damage. And they've really put on an absolute display in there. And this last quarter is going to be so heavily reliant upon him, again, getting over the top and putting it into the midfielders' hands and giving them first opportunity to get the ball forward.
Richmond by 18 points. The Eagles did get within 11. There's no Elliot Yeo, no Dustin Martin, both subbed out. Natanui again, straight down to Shuey. Hand pass to Kelly, gets the centre break. Free kick for a hold. It's going to West Coast and Petruccelli's going to get it centre half forward. Eagles coming home to the city end, and Richmond, as is customary, they're coming home to the punt road end and their fans. The kick from Petruccelli into the forward pocket. Another whistle, this time a Richmond free. As Darling took out the hands of Tarrant in the marking contest. Hamstring awareness for Dustin Martin. It looks like a relatively serious hamstring tear for Elliot Yeo. He looked pretty dejected on the Eagles bench. Short kick to Nankervis. Nankervis long down the wing, and Barris just thumps it away from Lynch.
Also had a really noticeable limp coming off from three-quarter time then, Corby. So obviously a decent one, you would have thought, Murph, given we saw Dustin with his awareness. Looked not very normal.
Well, good news for Elliot Yeo, who's barely had a run at it from the boundary throw-in. Nick Nat kicks it inside the forward 50 after grabbing it out of the ruck, but it spills down to Vlosten. Hand pass to Broad. One of 5 West Aussies in this Richmond team. He comes wide to another in McIntosh. Marking at half-back. Played his junior footy in Pinjarra, which is sort of in the Peel Thunder district, and then came through their system. Comes out wide to Graham. Hand pass to Broad. Heads inside 50. Young Bazzo just takes out Rewalt. Fell into him, and Jack just made sure the seat gave way, and there was no resistance up against the body weight of Bazzo. He hit the ground and wins the free kick at left half forward for Richmond.
No, it was smart from Jack, wasn't he? He felt the contact initially and then just went with it, so just made it very obvious to the umpire, but
pulled the handbrake on, didn't he?
He certainly
the young bloke
did.
Just cannoned into his back. We've seen him kick a torp from here after the siren. I wonder whether he's got that right now. I don't think so, but I'd like to see him go for it.
Having a good look at the big screen too, up to his left before he takes this shot. Jack Rewalt, 45-degree angle, 50 metres out, kick sails, goalward. It's just a little left. And behind. So Tigers by 19 points. Eagles dominating the third term. They did trail by as many as 39 early in the third quarter. Got within 11. Now Richmond back out by 19 points, 2.5 minutes into the final term.
Shanahan out of defence, spots up Ryan, who offers a good lead. Went all the way from half forward down to half back, marks at left half back. Kicked over the head of Hoff, but set a bit of a challenge for Cripps. He was able to knock it into the path of Duggan. Back to Cripps, gets the hand pass to Petreski-Seaton into the middle of the ground, and Gipkus is able to pluck the mark for the Tigers. Turns and wants to switch. He kicks over there to Broad. Opens the door for Waterman. He slides in, lost his footing. Now Broad's got him. And this should be holding the footing. And it is. Just a series of errors from both sides as Broad looks to quickly take it. Sends it to Marlon Pickett, who marks it right half forward. Couple of goals next to his name. Feeds the hand pass to Dan Rioli. Gets to 55 into the pocket. Rebound up. Got it. Great mark. Both he and Shea Bolton were there. Jack was able to claim the mark, and Mark just 10 metres in from the boundary in the right forward pocket, only about 25 metres out.
Looks like he's setting up for a left foot snap here.
No, guaranteed. He's pretty handy on the left boot.
Just thinking his way through it, steps out, snaps on the left, puts it through. Jack with his third. And the Tigers with the first goal of the final term, which is now 4 minutes old. Richmond out to a 25-point advantage. 16-6, 102 to the Eagles 11-11, 77.
Well, after a pretty quiet third quarter, Dan Rioli injects himself back into the game and gets himself another score involvement, another goal assist, just by pure work rate and run, getting past Marlon Pickett for the handball receive. It was a nice mark from Jack, but some good run and carry from Dan Rioli, just working hard from half back, staying involved in the game. Just put it to Jack's advantage, and a nice finish by Jackie Boy on the left.
It's going to be a big ask to try and kick 5 goals from here.
First to 100 you win, don't you? Isn't that the rule of thumb?
Well, Tigers have already got it, don't they?
Should we go home?
Let's make a game of it.
4.5 minutes into the final term. Tigers by 25 points. Nick Nat, who's had a day out. Nankervis wins this one, though, down to short. Tackle, dispossessed. Willie Rioli links up with Kelly. He kicks down to half forward for the Eagles, but Richmond through Dan Rioli mop it up. Hand pass to Broad, goes back by hand of Vlosten. At centre half back, kicks out to the southern wing. One bounce in front of Castagna. Collects, hand pass away to Nankervis. Hands it to Pickett, to the logo of the southern wing for Graham, who takes on Rioli. Rioli had him by the back of the jumper, and Willie Rioli comes up with it for the Eagles. Kicked the first goal of the game, Willie. It's his only one so far. He goes short to Kelly. And West Coast with the footy on the southern wing. Richmond by 25 points. Tigers with the last 2, 5 minutes into the last.
Tim Kelly with the hand pass to Willie Rioli. Spots up Cripps, who marks at left half forward. Still 2 kicks out from goal. Drives a long ball towards the goal square. Darling is there. He got a hand to it. Couldn't pull in the mark. Swooping back is short. Gathers up against the left behind post, and Grimes just steps it back over the line. I think Nick Gloucester would have liked that moment back in the third, but Grimes knows the rules. Richmond by 25.
It's up Marlon Pickett, who marks at half back. Kicked a couple of goals already today. He goes long down the wing. Hands on it from Bolton. That's a great mark over the top of Kelly. Low goal the southern wing. Moves it on to half forward. Barris and Lynch involved. Barris does so well. Got a fist on it. Grabs the footy. Locked up by Castagna and will have a ball up. Half forward for Richmond. 60 out from their goal at the punt road end. Dustin Martin and Elliot Yeo both subbed out with hamstring injuries in the third quarter. Yeo's looked a little more serious. Hamstring awareness, the language around Dustin Martin.
From the ball up, Jamie Cripps for the West Coast Eagles on the left half back. Kicks up towards Williams. Balled away by Gibcus. Pickett front and centre. Hand pass back to Broad. Hard against the boundaries. Taken across. And a boundary throw in centre of the southern wing.
Did you guys ever have like animated runners? Like a runner that was sort of in your face and right in every bump?
Not from memory. No, just usually just deliver messages.
I was watching Chris Marston on the bench, who's former Eagle, of course, pumping his fist and feels like he's right in every single bump out there with his former team, and obviously team he's still involved with.
Net down to Kelly. Hand pass inboard. Redden scraps with Baker. Trying to get a hand pass to Shuey. He gets it to Petreski-Seaton. Hand pass to Redden on the southern wing. Back to Petreski-Seaton. Kicks inside 50. Ryan gets a couple. Nudged underneath by Grimes. Allowed Gloucester to take the mark. Kicks out to left half back. McIntosh on a long run. Gathers. Hand pass over the top of Hoff. Works it to Dan Rioli. Links up with Edwards on the members wing. Short chip kick. Castagna to Wodawal. Petreski-Seaton spoils it down. Dan Rioli to Graham to Castagna to a stationary Gloucester. Cripps pinches it. Hand pass to the Eagles. Got it to Kelly. Now Petrocelli through the middle of the G. Takes the bounce. Vacant goalmouth. Goes to home and kicks it. He's hard to catch, Jack Petrocelli, when he's off and flying. And a much needed goal for the West Coast Eagles. A goal apiece to start this final term to just make it interesting. 18 points the Tigers lead. 16-6, 102 to the Eagles, 12-12, 84. Jack Petrocelli with his first.
I've noticed that a couple of times now with Jack Petrocelli. He's just a beautiful timer of the footy. He just smacked that through from about 52, kept it nice and low, but didn't try to overkick it. It was good work. I thought they were out there with the Tigers. That ball just wouldn't sit up for Camden McIntosh out here on the wing. It just held him up and allowed the Eagles to get back defensively and help out. Good work by Petreski-Seaton to get that fist in with the short pass. And they just went away from there. Petrocelli not catching him when he's running towards goal.
Not at all.
Richmond by 18 points. Williams doing the ruck work in the middle, palms it down. Ross on the deck, wins it, stands up with a footy. Hand pass to Baker, kicks Richmond to centre half forward. Re-rolled out to meet it, goes down in a tangle with Bazzo. Bolton passing through, went without it. Pack forms around Shannon Hearn, grabs possession, drilled in the tackle. Ball up, 20 out for the Richmond goal. Richmond 7 wins, 7 losses in their final quarters this year. The Eagles have outscored their opponents in only 3 final terms. From the ball up here, here's Lambert as the sub came on for Dust, and he's run down immediately by Jack Redden. The pair untangle themselves and will do it all again. Another ball up, 25 metres out from the Richmond goal.
Trying to take it out of the right hand curve as kicks towards the goal mouth. Barras is able to deal with it. Hand pass to Gaff, to Duggan. Last line of defence, turns it over. Baker takes the mark. West with a look back. That wasn't a great kick out of defence. There wasn't too much he could do about it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if he shanked the kick or
perceived pressure, you reckon?
Yeah, Morris Rioli Jr. was riding his tail, but just the long dump wide kick would have been preferable from there, and just to get the ball outside 50, and Baker found himself in a good spot and read the ball well, and will have a set shot from 50.
Damien Hardwick's being asked about Liam Baker almost every week. He says just pay him the dough, and from outside 50 he kicks a long-range bomb. A second goal for Liam Baker, the Western Australian who's out of contract at season's end. He's having a great season, and he steered the Tigers back to a 24-point advantage. 17-6, 108 to the Eagles, 12-12-84. 10 minutes gone, final term on ABC Sport. The Tigers with 2-1 in this final term.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Murph. You would have liked a long just dump kick out of there. You're never going to score from, well, the percentage is very low from defensive 10. And they were nearly on the goal line there, Liam Duggan. Whether it was perceived pressure or, he's just a shank. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt saying it was a shank, but you would like to see that one get long, wide, let your rucks get a contest or your key forwards and just get that out of bounds, reset. But, geez, that was a nice finish from Baker from 51. Smacked it through.
Does he stay next year, Lids?
Good question. I think he's still up in the air about it from all reports.
24 points, Richmond's lead. Williams straight down to Tim Kelly. He's tackled inside the centre circles.
You'd like hearing your coach say, well, pay the man, wouldn't you?
I was going to say, he might just be a smart businessman. The longer he goes, the more cash he's going to get.
Soldo wins it down to Shea Bolton. Got a hand pass out to Pickett. Richmond win a centre break. Pickett tucks it under his arm. Looks for home. Marlon Pickett to the goal square to Lynch. And Lynch marks a metre out from the goal line. He completed the mark just a step outside the goal square, so he's pressed up against the behind line. But he could throw it over from here. No problems for Tom Lynch. They'll be hard to catch now, the Tigers. A second for Lynch. And 12 minutes into the final term, Richmond restore a 5-goal buffer. 18-6, 114. West Coast 12-12, 84. Grandstand AFL, Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio.
Well, the Tigers have just got their hands on the football in the centre square bounce at the moment. They're making the most of the fact of Nick Naitanui being on the bench, getting his rest, and they've just been winning it at the coalface and getting it into their forwards and giving them first opportunity to score. And when you're having one-on-one contests, and Tom Lynch is such a huge man, he hasn't had the greatest day. Tom Brass probably had his measure, but when the ball's coming in that quick from a centre square bounce and you're one-on-one deep, they're always hard to stop.
Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport. Giants lead the Hawks by 8 points, approaching halftime there at Giants Stadium. Back in the middle, Naitanui one down the tap against Soldo. A chance to follow up though. Soldo gathers, hand pass to Ross, straight down the middle. Revolt dragged down, no whistle. Petrescu-Seton gathers, hand pass out in front of Rotham, under pressure to Duggan. Pressure immense from the Tigers as he's tackled by Lambert. Now a chance for Hoff. He's dragged off it. Morris Rioli won it and spins out of traffic. Hand pass back towards Lambert. Castagna knocks it on, but only as far as Shuey. Hand pass to Rotham. To Hoff and...
got to stop the play.
Petrescu-Seton's down. They eventually get the kick up to Nitnat, who marks on the wing.
Hurt his ankle. The play literally went over the top of his head as he's down with the trainer. Now West Coast cutting through the middle. Cripps kicks out to half forward and Willie Rioli takes the mark. The Eagles had possession, but Petrescu-Seton, who was subbed on for Elliot Yeo in the third quarter, now has the trainers and holding his ankle. The kick into the forward wanted West, and Gibcus whacks it away from him. And he's limping badly. Petrescu-Seton can't put a lot of weight on that left leg. Looks like he's going to stay out there, though, trying to push away the trainers. No, he is coming off. Jess will keep an eye on that. Boundary throw in forward 50 for West Coast. Soldo grabs it out of the ruck, kicks out of the defensive 50. Castagna takes on two tacklers. Hand pass and turnover. Kelly at half forward for West Coast. Gives it to Cripps, kicks inside 50. Wow. Clever. Willie Rioli to his own advantage. Then taps it to himself, kicks it goalward, but across the face, and Broad takes the intercept mark.
Looks to run the Tigers out of defence. Too far for Morris Rioli Jr., who is caught behind, and Hoff takes the mark. Spots Kelly free. He marks just inside 50 out to the left. No one's had more of the footy this afternoon than Tim Kelly.
He should be able to get the distance from here. He'll probably come out onto his right leg and get that extra 3 or 4 metres with the man in the mark not being able to move.
Possession number 35 coming up.
Makes it a pretty good game. He knocks this one through.
He's had 9 clearances, 5 inside 50s, 8 score involvements, and he's shooting for his third. Good afternoon at the office. Kelly veers out to the right, strikes it from right on 50 and drags it to the left-hand side. The minor score. Richmond by 29 points, 15 gone. Final turn from the MCG.
They gave up the farm to get him, so they're probably expecting it a fair return. 2 first-round picks going the way of the Cats to bring Tim Kelly back to town, who was playing in the WAFL under their nose for a number of years. And the kick out to Broad in the back pocket. He goes long down the wing. There's Kelly again. Wins it back for West Coast. Hand pass away to Bazzo to Rotham. Gives it to Shuey under pressure. Almost run down by Morris. Kicks in the middle of the ground for Gaff. Continues to shift it out to the northern side. And Darling, and his 250th takes the mark. He's played 250 of a possible 269 from debut, which is amazing for a key forward at a WA club on the plane every second week. And it's just 19 games since his career began. As the Eagles back into the middle of the ground for Rotham. Long kick to the top of the goal square. Tarrant puts his fist through it. Centre half forward for the Eagles. Lambert for the Tigers. Hand pass away to Graham. Kicks into the middle of the ground and the race is on.
Petreski-Seaton got there, tapped it away from Baker, so seems to be okay on that ankle. Out to Rotham. Morris Rioli offers the chase. He gets away from him and kicks inboard. Down low for True, couldn't take it. Graham just cannons his way through. Got it to short, to Lambert in the middle of the MCG. Looks up, Baker's all on his own. On 50, plays on. Hearn can't get to him, kicks towards Tom Lynch. Great work. Barris getting back, got a fist to it. He's able to spoil it towards the boundary line. Lynch trying to keep it alive. Barris over the 40. Now he's got a problem. No, the umpire says he'll pull it up. Left forward pocket. The Tigers have locked it in. And they felt like they had it all in their terms with Baker at half forward.
Jamie Cripps wouldn't have passed that one, I don't reckon. He would have set sail for home.
Tigers by 29. Soldo grabs it out of the ruck. Can't get boot the ball. Spills down to Duggan. Sweeps a hand pass to West. Half back for the Eagles. Hand pass to Shuey. Kicks along the boundary line. Darling leaping for it. No mark. And Ralph Smith can mop it up for Richmond. Hand pass to Tarrant. Great smother. Ryan came from the blind side to lay the smother. Spills to Kelly. Away to Darling. Hand pass to Ryan. Gets around Grimes. Superb field kick. Inboard to Waterman, who takes the mark. And boy, have they missed guys like Liam Ryan. They're all Australian forward, and Waterman just gives it back to the West Coast number one. And with good reason. Short kick inside 50, and Jamie Cripps takes the mark at right half forward, 48 metres out.
That's the second time now, though, that the Eagles have had some really good ball movement, some great kicks. One to Gaff in the middle of the ground, but they still couldn't get a score out of it, just through the way that the Tigers are able to set up and get back defensively hard to try and help out. Again, this one was a slow build-up, and Cripps has got a shot from outside 50.
Cripps shoots goalward. It's not a great kick, and in the end, it's marked on the behind line. Not quite. Broad wanted to claim it. It was through for a behind. Richmond's lead cut to 28 points. 18 minutes played in the final term.
Quickly brought back into play from Broad as he finds Vlosten. Up towards Morris Rioli Jr. in a tangle with Rotham. It's spoiled out of play for a boundary throw-in.
Well, the Eagles, they could have kept on going, couldn't they? The Eagles, they had the quick play. Liam Ryan did a few little tricks down here on the wing, and they had Rioli bursting towards goal. Just put it over the top and let him run onto it.
Just couldn't quite decide on the right option after so many great efforts from Ryan to get to half forward. Great work from Shuey. Gets it to Cripps. Advantage taken. He heard the whistle, and as a result, his kick dragged to the right. And a couple of Eagles are pointing to the umpire saying that wasn't really advantage. But they took the kick after he blew the whistle. And a throw in the right forward pocket. Tigers have got the Gold Coast Suns, North Melbourne and Freo in the next three, depending on what happens with Dustin Martin's hamstring awareness. Subbed out of the match after half-time from the throw-in. Nat Nui towards the boundary. Darling races after it. McIntosh and Gibcus right there with him. Tigers still with Trent Cotchin. Noah Bolter still to come back in. A couple of key cogs.
Look, a hell of a lot better side West Coast with the likes of Natanui and Liam Ryan back out there. They're all Australian calibre players. How's that for a hit out? Natanui down to Cripps. Took a moment too long, and his opposite number, Jaden Short, crunched him in the tackle to win a holding the ball call. Short pokes his pass out wide to Castagna, who marks at half back. He's omitted. Spent a couple of weeks out of the team. Back today, Jason Castagna. Kicked a goal on his return. Goes long down the wing to Bolton, who marks, and he's off. Turns, plays on, takes on Redden. Hand pass to Rewalt. Tried to get it back to Bolton. Handballed it out of play. And the umpire says, spin it in. That's all okay. And a boundary throw in, 70 out from the Richmond goal.
I don't know how they missed not paying a free kick there, because
that should be 50, shouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Bolton's basically handballed the ball and then been tackled out of the possession of get into the next contest. So should have definitely been a 50.
Against Redden?
Yep.
Boundary throw-in. Natanui grabs it out of the ruck. He's been brilliant again today. Hand pass to Redden, mowed down by Bolton. Got a kick away. The short taps it to Natanui. Tackled, dispossessed, and penalised. Nick Natanui caught holding the ball, and a free kick here for Ross beneath us. Richmond by 28 points as we tick into time on final turn.
Jack Ross veers out to the right, sends the Tigers towards the attacking 50. Lynch sets fly, can't take the mark. Castagna front and centre had a fumble. Couldn't pull it in under the pressure of Jones. Boundary throw in 45 metres out from the Tigers' goal at the Punt Road end.
Half-time at the slip and slide in Sydney. GWS 6-2, Hawthorn 4-6, so an 8-point lead for the Giants at half-time.
And for our Western Australian listeners, don't fear, we're heading straight to Fremantle taking on Port Adelaide after this game. Soldo wins down the tap to Graham, squares it up, McIntosh takes the mark. At full stretch, there wasn't much Hoff could do. Camden McIntosh.
More reward for being the offside winger there, Murphy. You're relying on your inside mids and your other winger to really know that you're going to be out there all the time and to utilise the width of the ground. And when you do get your chances, you don't tend to pass too many of them off, regardless of how far out they are. I'm going to back him in to knock this one through after he couldn't quite make the distance from the last one outside 50.
So he has that high ball lift as he's setting himself to go through his routine. Camden McIntosh has one already from right on 50. Sets fly. Beautiful kick. Straight into the Richmond fans at the Punt Road end. And the cheer squad enjoyed that. One of the fan favourites, Camden McIntosh, with his second. And the Tigers are romping away now. 34-point leaders. 19-6, 120 to the Eagles, 12-14, 86.
Well, it is a great reward for playing a role and for effort, because when you are playing that offside wing, you very rarely get an opportunity, and when you do need to make the most of them, as you said, Lids, and you know his teammates really enjoy playing with him because he plays a thankless role really, and just allows the inside mids just to go and hunt the footy, hunt the man, because he's always got their back in terms of being the outside balance and supporting the defence and being that outlet and getting back to support. So great for Camden McIntosh to kick 2 goals today and play his role out there on the wing.
Richmond have kicked 5 of the last 6 after the Eagles drew within 11 points. So it spent a few petrol tickets, the Eagles, trying to wipe off the 39-point deficit, got as close as 11. Now it's back out to 34, time on in the last. The Tigers headed towards win number 9 on the season. They soccer it forward again out of the middle here. Marlon Pickett onto it. High half forward. Sweeping hand pass out into the path of Ross. Takes on Kelly. Kelly a neat tackle. Hand pass to the advantage of Rewald. He's drilled in the tackle from Barris. Says play on. Says holding the ball in the end.
That's not your go, big boy.
He's tried to do the old drop the knees and push the arm up for a high tackle and just got absolutely done.
He's having a laugh about it, which is good.
The fans aren't too happy that he didn't receive a free kick for a high tackle. It was never forthcoming. Barris to centre half back, whacked away from Darling, back inside 50 for the Tigers. Shuey attacks it. Hand pass to Petruccelli to Gaff, away to the run of Connor West. Through the middle of the G, kicks for Waterman. Juggled effort, can't complete the mark. Coat hangered by Grimes. And Jake Waterman will get a free centre half forward for the Eagles.
No, they really don't like that one. I'll show a sense of humour, Tiggs fans. He's tried hard today, Jake Waterman.
Yeah, I think he's been pretty good.
And now 50. So I can only imagine this is for a little bit of a conversation with Nick Vlosten, and the umpire told him to be a little more constructive with his feedback, and now Waterman's going to be marched to the top of the goal square.
They'll make a certainty of it, Court, which is good for the Eagles. Get one late, but Tigers have done their job today.
Waterman with the no-doubter just knocks it through. Richmond's lead cut to 28 points. But it's all elementary from here. 25 minutes travelled in the final term. Richmond 19-6, 120. West Coast 13-14, 92. Tigers by 28 points. Just from an Eagles perspective today, they've got outclassed today ultimately in the end, but they haven't been outworked, which is more than we can say about a number of their losses this year.
No, they haven't been. I think they've actually been quite good today, but as you said, Corby, I think they've just come up against an outfit which knows exactly what they stand for and how they want to play together, and they've just got a lot of class across the board, the Tigers. So they're playing some really good football, especially over the last 2 months, and I think the Eagles fans and players will walk away from today thinking, well, we had a crack. We probably just weren't quite up to it in terms of the class level, but I think they've certainly worked really hard.
Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio, your experts on ABC Sport. Back in the middle, Williams wins down the tap. Kelly got the clearance, hand pass picked off by McIntosh, works it to Baker, Dan Rioli involved for a second time, hand pass wide to Marlon Pickett at right half forward, short pass, it works in the end for Ross, who broke the tackle of Duggan, hand pass back to Dan Rioli, outside of the booty kick, the fat part of the footy, Shea Bolton underneath it, spoils it down to Short, it's party time, hand pass to Edwards, who snaps across his body for his second. Perhaps just slightly over-possessing the footy, but it's still finished where it intended to be, which was straight amongst the Richmond cheer squad at the punt road end. And the Tigers up to 126 to the Eagles 13-14-92. A couple of their highest scoring matches they've saved for against the Eagles.
Geez, I would have liked to have seen Dan Rioli just finish that work.
Oh, yeah.
He was involved running through the back of the square again, gave the handball off to Marlon Pickett, but then got back involved, just continued to charge forward, went for the bunana and hit the fat part of the footy, as you call, Clinchy. Just some sharp hands in there and good, just unselfish play. And then Shane Edwards finished off the work.
How about the aggressive run? He's ended up probably 25 metres out from attacking goal. So as a half-back flanker, just to be able to stay involved in the passage of play and have the licence to get forward and be attacking, it's just great to watch.
Their two highest scores of the season, Richmond, both come against West Coast now, so 126 and 165. As Nankervis wins a hit out in the middle, but tackled straight away Andrew Gaff by McIntosh. Will have a ball up again in the middle. 27 gone, final term. Tigers headed towards their 9th win of the year. Williams tries to grab it out of the ruck, kick smothered. Baker, hand pass went straight to Zane True, the first gamer. He gives it to Williams, his kick smothered. Nice work from Graham. Ball spills to Short, kicks out wide for Edwards. Sweeping hand pass back to Graham. Links up with Rioli on the run. Rioli missing. And that's Dan Rioli.
He's had about 5 shots today, I reckon.
He could have easily, couldn't he?
He knows when there's one on the horizon for him as he's charging away downhill, but not to be here. Richmond by 35.
Petrescu-Seton straight down the middle, but the intercepting mark taken by Marlon Pickett. Andy from Wodonga makes that point that Dan Rioli is playing so well as a back flanker as opposed to a forward flanker. Seems more intent on kicking a goal from halfback. As Pickett goes short, and here's Edwards. Right in the corridor, uncontested. He marks 40 metres out from goal.
Well, I think you've got that licence to run off when you know you've got the support of Grimes, Broad, Vlosten behind you. Are going to fill that gap. I only know that from experience playing with Rance and Grimes behind me. When I was at a half-back flanker, they'd say, get up the ground and get going. We'll cover your man and try and stop him if you get stuck up there, you know. So they obviously give him that licence just to create.
33-year-old Shane Edwards kicking for his third. He leans back on it and drags it across the face to the left-hand side. So they could have put it on a few more here in the dying stages. Richmond by 36 points, 29 minutes gone, final term.
39,391 the attendance. Richmond home game on a Sunday arvo, no rain, but a little cold as you'd expect in the opening days of July. As Hoff marks the kick out, heads inboard to Bazzo, no mark, but got a handball away to Kelly. Gives it back to Bazzo, the rangy defender. Hand pass forward to Gaff. Gives it to Hacksaw Liam Duggan, who kicks it out on the full. Trying to hit up True on the boundary line, and a free kick for Richmond at halfback. Half-hour mark, final term. The Tigs next week up to the Gold Coast. Sun's been so good the last 2 weeks, and they got nothing to show for it. Losing by less than a kick on both occasions. Sure, they'll come out hissing next week against the Tigers, so that's Saturday in the twilight. Richmond work it down to half forward, but a turnover, and Kelly sends the Eagles back to half forward for Liam Ryan. And the West Coast Eagles, they got a date with your Blues, Murph, at Perth Stadium next Sunday. Ryan spearing a kick inside 50, turns it over to Vlosten.
Kicks out towards half-back. Rioli trying to fly on the back of Redden, gave away the free kick. And the Eagles will get another roll of the dice late here. Thought about the hand pass wide to Petrescu-Seton, instead centres it up. Gaff down low, takes the mark. As Vlosten came cannonning in. In fact, it was Jack Ross who tried to dive head first to make the spoil. Andrew Gaff directly in front will kick from just inside 50.
Hasn't had as much of the footy as we're used to. Still had his 20 today, but used to get him such high numbers. He's probably not hasn't got the strength of the midfield around him that he used to have, but cap off his day with a last quarter goal.
Veers out to the left. Gaff might not quite have the journey. It's across the face and through for a minor score to the right. So the Tigers drum up their 9th victory of the season. They're back inside the top 8, but they lose Dustin Martin with a hamstring injury after halftime. The Tigers by 35 points against the Eagles.
In any weather you will see us with a grin, risking head and shin. If we're behind it, never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weaken till the final siren's gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger. Yellow and black, we're from Tigerland.
Richmond 28-128 to the West Coast Eagles 13-15-93. So the two highest scores for the Tigers this season have both come against the Eagles. They led by 10 points at quarter time, by 34 at half time. At one stage they got out by 33 points. The Eagles put up 6 goals to 3 to close the gap to 18 before the Tigers kicked 5 goals to 2 in the final term to run out 35-point winners.
Fighting fury, we're from Tigerland. In any weather you will see us with a grin, risking head and shin. If we're behind then never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weaken till the final siren's gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger. Yellow and black, we're from Tigerland.
So the Tigers with their 9th win of the season, they move to 7th position on the AFL ladder. They've got Collingwood and Carlton above them. It sets up for what's going to be a thrilling close to the 2022 home and away season. The Tigers by 35 points over the West Coast Eagles. They had 12 individual goal kickers. Jack Revolt booted 3. A couple for Tom Lynch, for Camden McIntosh, for Shea Bolton, and also for Liam Baker. Edwards with 2 as well. Individuals for Dustin Martin, who didn't finish the match after being subbed out in the third quarter with hamstring awareness. Dan Rioli with a couple of great goals as well. Gibcus, Rioli and Marlon Pickett with 2. Meanwhile, for the West Coast Eagles, Jamie Cripps booted 3. And individual goals to Ryan Waterman, Nat Nui, Tim Kelly with a couple, Petrocelli, True, Darling, West and Rioli, the other individual goal kickers. So 20 goals for the Tigers, 13 for the West Coast Eagles. Richmond winners by 35 points against the much improved West Coast Eagles from the last time they clashed in Perth.
Certainly was, Clinchy. It was much better effort. We actually thought they were coming home with a wet sail and the Tigs were going to be under the pump there in that last quarter, but I think essentially they spent too many petrol tickets in that third quarter to try and get over the line. So it was the Tigs who prevailed in the end, but probably led by just a little bit more class and the ability to get their system and structure set up a bit better and defend the ground better. And they probably lacked for another key forward down there in Joshy Kennedy, who missed this week.
Yeah, and I think you go back to the moment where Nat Nui gives away that free kick, and at that point in the game they were 11 points down and momentum was all in their favour, wasn't it, for the Eagles? They were really coming, and to give away that free and then for Liam Baker to go down and kick that goal, it almost really took the sting right out of the Eagles' sails. They were coming home very strong, and just before three-quarter time too was a really big moment of the game.
It's been a good patch of games, I think, for the Tigers. They're probably really solidified their spot up there in the 8, which has been good for them, given they were a bit rocky early, I thought. But their best footy certainly is something that any side in the 8 will be very worried about come the end of the year. But I liked what I saw from the Eagles in terms of they're getting their players back. The Elliot Yeo injury aside, I feel for that poor bugger, given that he's put so much time into getting back, and then for your body to let you down again. I've been there. I know exactly what that's like. Luke Shuey will be able to console him a little bit too in that sense, because he's been through it all as well. But it was a much better effort there. Tim Kelly today, what a superstar. I mean, had the 40 touches, 17 of those contested, 9 clearances. Geez, he was doing it all, and probably nearly could have had another couple of shots on goal as well. Murph, he ran past and just got burned a couple of times. Jamie Cripps doing what all good forward pockets do. He's had a pretty good game himself.
He was terrific, yeah.
But for mine, it was Dan Rioli for the Tigers who set the game up with his dash. Quarter in that third quarter, but his other 3 quarters were very, very good. I liked also the work of Liam Baker, very clean. Jaden Short gave him plenty of run and dash. Nathan Broad across, and I said that about him before the game, being a Tom Stewart sort of type player with his ability not only to catch it but to get involved and create some offense for him. And what do you have? Just looking at the stats now, 577 metres gained. A real ability to link up and get involved, whereas when he first started, he was just to do my job and I'll sit out to the side and not really look to get involved much, but he's certainly added that element to his game.
Yeah, he has, and from what stands out from watching him, terrific in the contest, 1v1, great supporting his teammates. But as you said, he's added that extra dimension of getting the ball. So he gets one contest here on a half-back flank and works his tail off to get to another outlet and provide another option. So he provides a lot on the offensive end as well. So he's just added that little string to his bow as well.
Excellent win for Richmond. I mean, it's they were favourites coming in and they ended up winning, but as Sydney and Carlton have learnt the hard way this week, there's no soft touches in the league.
Exactly.
So you just got to roll up and bank the 4 points, and every single one is at a premium at the moment. So it gets them to 7th on the table. They're the best of the 9-win teams in terms of percentage. So that puts them ahead of Sydney in 8th and St Kilda, despite their win on Friday night, sit percentage out of the 8 in 9th spot at the moment. The Western Bulldogs a game further back, and then another game behind them, Gold Coast and Port Adelaide still to play this weekend. So a crucial 4 points for Richmond, which will have them in the 8 at the end of the weekend.
So that's 7 of their last 9. Joined the Cats, who won their last 6, and Collingwood, who have been on a good roll as well, winning their last 6. So at a time in which just being able to get inside the 8 is half the battle for Richmond, they're starting to do a lot of things right.
Well, exactly right. I think they've really got their mojo back, and they were challenged, no doubt. I don't think Dimmer will be overly happy with the 28 scoring shots and 93 points against, because I think they ultimately probably let a few things slip today where you wouldn't normally see from a Richmond side. But at the end of the day, they've had 28 scoring shots themselves. They kicked a lot straighter, and I felt like they had the game on their terms, albeit except for in the middle of the ground where Kelly, Shuey and Nui really got on top of them in there. So I reckon they get a little bit more. Obviously, adding Prestia and Cochin to that mix will certainly iron a few of those creases out. But yeah, there's still plenty to improve on. Dimmer will no doubt say in his press conference, but he'd be pretty pleased too with the form that they've been in.
Jack Darling was chaired off following his 250th game. The Tigers were just a little bit slow getting in there to make the guard of honour, but I think he was pretty keen to get off the MCG as well, so didn't really want the song and dance.
They were signing the footies, and then they realised he was getting chaired off, and they all sort of ran after him to try and make a guard of honour. They got there a little late, but sort of gave the royal wave and just signalled their respect.
Their intention, yeah.
Tigers by 35 points, 128 to the West Coast Eagles, 13-15-93 in front of 39,391 fans. Let's join Richmond with Jess Webster.
The Tigers just rolling into the rooms now, led by co-captain Dylan Grimes. Small contingent of family friends in the rooms this afternoon. Most of them are actually outside the rooms as the players come down into the race. A lot of the extended playing group as well in the rooms, ready to greet the victorious Tigers back inside the top 8 with a strong win over West Coast by 35 points. They were made to earn it, but they certainly got the job done in the end. And I think we're just waiting for Jack Rewald. It looks like just still outside the rooms at the moment, having a chat to the fans. All the other players are ready to go to sing the song in the circle. So Jack is making his way to the circle now as all the players are waiting for him. He's still looking outside the rooms. I don't know what he's actually looking at, but he's just making his way now, linking arms with his teammates. Still got a pause down here, guys. They're really adding suspense to this team song.
Are they Dustin Martin short, Jess? Is he in there? Oh, he's there. They're not waiting for him.
They're still looking over their shoulders. They must be waiting for the family and friends to slowly filter through from outside into a little cordoned off area at the back of the rooms here. So I think they're just waiting to celebrate this with the family and friends, which is nice. So
get them going, Jess. Why don't you start them off?
Feels like it's just waiting for someone to kick it off.
Yeah, Yeah,
I've
they're still
never seen
waiting
this before.
for the last family and friends to gather in now, but they look like they're about ready to go. Here we go.
Richmond winners by 35 points, sort of sung with the gusto of 4 points, but bigger and hopefully better problems to come in weeks to come, with finals potentially on the horizon.
A bit too fast for mine. I reckon they just slow it down a bit. Yeah, it sounds like they're racing through it. I remember Wayne Campbell said that to me years and years ago. I said, mate, just let us sing it. We don't get to sing it that much, so don't stop judging it. But they've sung it a lot recently, so I reckon they could just slow it down and enjoy the moment a bit more.
Pies do the dead silence before they start singing the song.
Yeah, it's good.
Poor old Darcy Moore had to hobble his way in. They still wanted him a part of it, and he was able to crack a smile belting out the song as he awaits the scan for his injury. So the Tigers winners by 35 points. We're on air for about another 10 minutes before we take you to Fremantle. We'll take you on Port Adelaide at Giants Stadium, third quarter action there. GWS by 14 points, 7-2-44 to the Hawks for 6:30. So maybe just give us a few thoughts about what impressed you about the West Coast Eagles today, knowing that they'd only had a couple of wins of the season. It was always going to be a tough afternoon for them, but what you enjoyed about their application and their fight this afternoon.
Well, I think the fact that they took it up to the Tigers and were right in the game up until a little way into that last quarter, weren't they? They just, with that free kick that you spoke about, Murph, but the addition of Nick Nat coming back into that team, and that's obviously, you've seen the elevation of Tim Kelly on the back of that. Luke Shuey again having 26, which was really good. So I think maybe just very comfortable knowing that they're starting to get their team back together more than anything else.
Well, just hold fire, Murph. We'll come back to the Eagles. Let's head inside the Richmond rooms with Jess Webster.
Thanks, Clint. You're here with co-captain Tobin and Curvis. Great job out there today. West Coast really made you earn it. You must be pleased not only with the efforts, but to return to the top 8.
Yeah, no, we knew they were going to be great today. They obviously got so many quality players, and we knew today was going to be really hard fought, which it was. And credit to them, it was the game was in a balance there with about 5 or 6 minutes to go there.
You posted a really high score too, 12 individual goal scorers, 7 of those kicked multiple goals. Is that a really positive sign?
Yeah, I think that's when we're playing our best footy. We don't rely on one player to kick the score for us. I think, the even spread, and we've got so many avenues up forward, which is a real positive for us.
Let's head upstairs. Over to you, Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy.
Toby, well done today. It's always a big challenge when you come up against a premier ruckman like Nick Naitanui. How do you go into a game trying to prepare for someone like Nick Naitanui? Because, as we all know, that he's a rare breed and he puts it anywhere that he wants to. What was your thought process going in today, just to really try and nullify him and make a contest as best he possibly can?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's amazing. Not only his athleticism and power, but his finesse and his touch with the ball is unbelievable. So, I just wanted to compete as best as we could. And, as you said, there's no one probably like Nick Nat I've ever come up against. So he's so unique, and it's a great challenge as well. I think we'll learn a lot from today, no doubt.
Nate, Lids here, mate. Well done today. I just want to get your thoughts on Dan Rioli. He switched from being as more of a high forward, but the last couple of years down there at half-back. Thought he was fantastic today. His ability to run and dash off. He had 9 score involvements, but could have probably kicked a couple of goals himself. But, mate, you must be impressed with the dash he's given you.
Yeah, absolutely, Lids. I think not only is he great with the ball, which we probably knew, he's so skillful, and he's obviously his speed and his fitness is unbelievable, but defensively I think he's stood up really well down there, and his competitiveness and his closing speeds, we've been real highlight. He's had a great year so far, and each week he seems to get better and better, so no doubt big back half the year for Daniel.
And Timmer's message at three-quarter time, obviously West Coast came with a bit of a rush there in that third quarter. Was it just keep continuing to grind it out with what we're doing, or was it, righto boys, we might need to just pull our finger out a little bit?
Yeah, no, we need to get going there, no doubt. I think the West Coast really smashed us around the footy. There's no hiding to the fact that we need to get better around the centre clearances clearly, but obviously stoppages around the ground as well, and it's an area we really pride ourselves on, and we need to get to work on that this week, because we got beaten today in that area, I think.
A couple of top 8 teams lost earlier in the weekend. Toby, how conscious are you of what's happening across the competition? Are you watching other games, sort of keeping across what's going on in the competition?
I actually have been watching a bit of footy. I think I'm not a massive footy watcher, but the games have been unbelievable. I think the competition's probably never been tighter, and each week we're seeing the bottom 8 sort of teams challenging the top 8 teams, and it's great. I've been watching it, but I think if you follow the ladder too closely, you do your head in. So I don't really know where we sit or what's happening, but I do know that we've got a big back half of the season coming up.
So you're up to 7th now. You're the best of the 3 teams in terms on 9 wins in terms of percentage. So that puts you in front of Sydney and St Kilda. How hard is it to make sure that, I guess, your concentration and your motivation levels are up every single week throughout a home and away season, particularly now when we're in the dead of winter, knowing that you just can't afford any slip-ups?
Yeah, we've sort of been in this position before, I think, and to be honest, it's not hard to get motivated to play AFL footy, but it's just bringing that consistency of performance, I think, and just knowing that little lapses in games will cost you, which we sort of found out earlier on. So, just playing a more consistent brand of footy and across 4 quarters is what's going to hold us in good stead.
Toby, you've won 7 of your last 9, a couple of close ones against Geelong and Sydney. So do you feel like you're getting back to that consistency? And I guess in the last term we saw a bit of that transition footy, which Richmond have been so well known for in their dominant period.
Yeah, I do feel like our game's in a pretty good spot, but each week we're sort of learning and, I suppose improving. So I think that's a real positive to come out of it. But, we know our best footy is good enough, but we just need to keep improving and make sure the back half of the year we're continuing to get better.
Now, as we let you go, Corbin was very curious as to whether captains are instructed that you need to kick to the punt road end in the last term. Is that part of the mantra as leading the Tigers?
I went out there today and didn't even know which way. I won the toss and didn't know which way I was going to go. So I just ended up pointing, just didn't even know why. So, no, there's definitely not much to that.
Okay, you've got a big clash against the Gold Coast Suns next week. Best of luck. Thanks for joining us on ABC Radio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Toby Nankervis, the Tigers skipper. So there you go, Corby. Put your finger in the wind and then try and remember which way you pointed.
I have a feeling it's a secret unspoken rule that Richmond have to come home with the cheer squad at the punt road end. So if you win the toss, we're always going to the city end. Obviously, the wind doesn't really matter here, does it? It's always a swirly top sort of ground. That you're so well protected from, the stands and the 100,000 seats here that it doesn't really matter which way you start and finish.
I always found at the day games when you are going that way, your forwards are looking into the sun at the start of the game. So I always try to give our forwards an opportunity by being at the other side of the ground, so you're not looking into the sun.
So if you start kicking to the city end, you're less chance to cop the sun.
I believe so.
Wow.
There you go. There's a more scientific
That makes a little more sense than just let's kick to the end where our facilities are and our cheer squad. I thought that might have had something to do with it.
Richmond winners by 35 points. Give me a minute on the West Coast Eagles, Murph, as to what you saw today, and then we'll go to 3, 2 and 1 for the ABC Footballer of the Year.
Oh, look, as Liz said before, I think we were enormously impressed with their midfield. Natanui just adds another dimension to their side, and it's a big game over there in the West next week for Carlton, because they're going to come up against a side which gets back in Josh Kennedy, who kicked 5 last week, but their midfield's still got a lot of talent in and amongst it, so the game's always won and lost in there, isn't it, Lid? So I think Carlton are going to have their work cut out to get over the line, but they had 28 scoring shots today, equal with Richmond, and actually had more inside 50s by 4, I think. So they did a lot right, the Eagles, but they're just probably their class just on top across the ground probably wasn't quite as good as Richmond.
They've got Carlton, Hawthorn and St Kilda in the next 3, so they might do some damage.
Yeah, I'd be nervous if I was those teams when they're getting their players back, although Yo would have helped a little bit in that. But anyway.
The votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year.
Before you jump in on Murph, I've just realised the last 7 games we've called here, the team that's won the toss has kicked to the city end. So there might
be something in that.
There's a trend there. The last team not to do it was Port Adelaide against Richmond. They kicked the other way.
Apologies to the SMS listener who wanted to know if there was a stat kept for that. Yeah. You just got your answer.
That's a recent sample size at least, and very specific to just the games that I've been at, not even the games that have been played here.
Well, there you go. Well, anyway, I'd like to give a few honourable mentions. So Nick Natanui, I thought, was fantastic today, so he was close to getting into the votes. Jamie Cripps, I thought, was right up there, kicking 3 goals and having 24 disposals. Our man, Nathan Boyd, I like to try and claim a bloke, and I think he was fantastic again today. But my one vote goes to Marlon Pickett.
Yep, very good.
I thought he was really good in his 1v1 contest and got back really hard to support the defence when he was playing wing at times, and had 25 disposals, 2 goals, 5 tackles. I thought he was fantastic. My 2 votes was Dan Rioli. He had 28 disposals, went at 85%.
Not best on
efficiency. Had 9 score involvements, 2 direct goal assists, and was fantastic. I made mention of him having 5 shots for goal. He probably would have had 4 at least. I think maybe he hit the belly of the ball at one occasion, but he was fantastic. Just his run and dash was just a really highlight. But he would have been best on in most games. But Tim Kelly, I thought, was fantastic. His clearance work was a real highlight. Working at the feet of Nick Naitanui, he had 9 clearances, along with his 40 disposals, 2 goals and 17 contested possessions. So he did it in all aspects of the game, and he had my 3 votes today.
3 to Tim Kelly, 2 to Dan Rioli, and 1 to Marlon Pickett. The votes in the ABC Football of the Year from Mark Murphy.
Tell you got to go back and watch then the coaches' votes. That's what I like to do to see whether I actually got somewhat close to it.
Critique your work.
It's good to know where you sit, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
and if you really missed, then it's a real damn.
Yeah, it's like, ooh.
If you had to have a second and third best Eagle, who would you have? Just out of interest.
Second and third best
He said Cripps.
Eagle. So he said Cripps.
Yep. And
Naitanui.
Yep.
So there you go, the votes for the Christian medal there. We're going to take you to Fremantle and Port Adelaide in just a few moments' time. Clint Wheeldon and Ben Cameron alongside Bo McDonald and Cara Antonio in the match from Giants Stadium. It's the Giants leading by 13 points in the wet there. Third quarter action, 7-2-44 to the Hawks 4-7-31. So Clint will keep you across the scores there as the Fremantle Dockers and Port Adelaide do battle to close out round 16 of the AFL. Thanks for a lot of your music suggestions for the pre-match entertainment. I'm going to run Lids through a couple of them as he makes his way back to the family. The Roadhouse Blues, The Woman, and work your way there from there. Andy from Wodonga. And can't go past Nightwish. Okay. So a couple there for Lids to enjoy once he's been listening to the team from Perth. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon footy as we head west. It's the Dockers and the Power.